Achieving a gorgeous grin from home isn't a total mystery with Bite Clear aligners. Just don't be surprised if all of your sleuthing friends start asking, "What's your secret?" Begin by ordering your at-home impression kit today for only $14.95. Bite Clear aligners are doctor-directed and delivered to your door. Treatment costs thousands less than braces. Plus, they offer flexible financing, accept eligible insurance, and you can pay with your HSA FSA. Get 80% off your impression kit when you use code WONDERY at Byte.com. That's BYTE.com. Start your confidence journey today with Byte.
Hi there, it's Julia Louis-Dreyfus. You may know me from my podcast called Wiser Than Me, where I talk to older women and get their wisdom from the front lines of life. I was amazed by how many people told me our show made them look forward to getting older, which is why I'm here to talk about season 2 of the show. Sally Field, Billie Jean King, Beverly Johnson, Ina Garten, Bonnie Raitt, just to name a few. All hail old women. Wiser Than Me season 2 is out now from Lemonada Media.
Better not have no plans tonight.
Movie time and it's feeling right.
You're looking for a love that lasts. You'll find it at Romancing the Podcast. Ooh, ooh, baby, you had me at hello. Ooh, I love you.
I know.
Ooh, ooh, baby, you're the wind beneath my wings. I'll have what she's having.
Thank you for tuning into Romancing the Pod. You had us at hello. I'm Paige Wesley.
I'm Mikey Randolph.
And I'm Todd Schlosser. And this week, Paige made us watch
I did.
Beautiful Disaster.
I have no regrets.
Man, I have so many. I have so many regrets.
No.
I came in with a literal list of regrets, Paige.
This movie's insane.
It is.
It's so crazy. I mean, did you expect it to turn into Now You See Me?
No.
At the end?
No, not at all. I did not expect her to be like, I don't know even really what happened in Vegas. Like everything that happened in Vegas is like a blur in my mind. And largely because wasn't he in debt to a casino?
No.
Oh, he wasn't in debt to a casino? This man she says is her dad?
No, so I can explain. What turns out is he and the casino owner worked together. They were trying to get her back into playing poker.
Oh, no. I understand that. I mean, in this ruse that they're putting on.
Yes.
That's a casino owner. And he's like,
right.
Your dad owes me $100,000.
Right.
So go win $100,000 from my casino. Although she's playing Texas Hold'em, so she's getting money from other people.
Yeah.
But still, like, if a security guard from that hotel was like, I'd be like, yeah, fuck. I mean, talk to your staff, bitch. I'm out. My dad doesn't know you shit anymore.
Yeah.
Also, why send her to your casino to do that?
I don't know that she was at his casino.
I don't know at all what, I mean, it looked like his casino was just that strip club room that they take her to in and out of like 3 times.
Yeah, the Landing Strip is the name of that strip club.
Gross.
I assume it's by the airport. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
Let's get into it. This movie it's so bad in such inventive ways. And like, it doesn't give you the information you need for the story to be anywhere near coherent. There's 3 movies worth of story.
I know.
Crammed into 94 minutes. And yet it still feels like you watched this movie for days. Like at one point I was like, this has to be close to the end of the movie because I was watching it at 2 a.m. and I hit pause to see how much was left. And it was like 35 minutes. And I was like,
I had that same
what
experience.
is going to happen?
Yes.
And this is why I didn't think it was great, because I was like, this is dragging and dragging.
Well, I will say, it drags at that one point, and it drags for a bit in the middle, 100%. But then we get to Vegas, and it's a completely new movie. It's like you have stopped watching the movie you were watching, and then when they get to the fight at the end, I lost my mind. Chernobyl for president. Hysterical. This is like somebody watched like Ocean's 11 and Rocky and was like, what if it was 365, but without the sex?
So I was going to bring in 365 too, because I feel like 365 is like horny 50 Shades.
Yes.
And I feel like this is horny after. So they're like, this is definitely a level down in quality, but it's a little bit sexier than After.
I think it's the same level of bad as After, but
Me
in
too.
different ways. In different ways.
Yeah. I meant a different level of quality from the other two movies I mentioned, the 365 and 50 Shades.
Yes. Yeah. I almost feel like this is After for girls who aren't book girls, for girls who are something else, if that makes sense.
This felt very like target audience was girls who are book girls.
Not really. She's not an English major. She never reads. She never talks about it, as opposed to After, where they constantly talk about it.
I meant something different by book girls. I meant girls who read their porn.
Oh, sure. But that's most girls now. That's like all of us. We're all doing it. Get with it.
I'm not saying you shouldn't.
I don't have much to say about this, but I think it is markedly worse than After. After hits a sweet spot of bad, good. This went too far to bad, bad.
I agree, Mikey. This felt more... Well, okay, so if After is more cringe, this was just more ick.
Okay.
Are you with me, Mikey?
Uh-huh.
I get where you're going, and I don't disagree with you. I think for me, the reason I find this more palatable than After is because the cringe of After really bothers me. Because I'm just like, ugh, girl, no.
Well, that's more like relationship cringe, and I could see that being more your trauma.
Sure. Well, not really, because like I wouldn't put up with his shit. I wouldn't put up with this guy's shit either.
Everyone makes bad decisions when they're 23, baby.
Sure. He's just as bad as Harden in different ways. Like,
Yes!
it's
Yes,
bad.
he is. I think
Oh, he's bad.
It is bad.
I think Harden is also a douche, whereas I sort of think Travis he's pretty douchey,
Unwell.
I guess. Yeah, I mean,
he's unwell.
Also, at the beginning of this movie, I think he might be a god. He seems to show up whenever he needs to show up, and he knows everything. He calls her pigeon right away, like he's willing her to existence. I don't know.
It's really weird.
It is.
But here's my thing. In After, I hate them quoting novels at each other. I hate that part of it.
You say novels when you know it's only two. They've only
know.
read 2 books in that movie.
But 2 is still plural, so novels. But in this movie, it's like, okay, Paige, we heard you. What if instead of books, it was UFC fighting and a heist? And I'm like, I'm back in.
Yeah.
I'm in. Give me all of it. Give me 14 of these. Let's watch
Is there a
it.
hurricane in Vegas? I think I've seen Hurricane Heist. Is that this
Fucking
movie?
do it. Now, I will say, and I want to be very, very clear about my critique here. As much as I am sproused up, I love me some sprouses.
Of course.
Dylan Sprouse as a UFC fighter is the most unrealistic part of this movie. And hear me out. It is not that he is not attractive. He definitely is. Homie is 5'10". I did fall down a rabbit hole of looking up how tall he was and found out that Cole is 2 inches taller. Weirder.
Paige, is this the first time you've ever seen someone online lie about their height? Because
I'm
he's
sure.
definitely not 5'10".
No.
Parker towers above him and for no reason is afraid of him. Parker, you are fully a 40-year-old man. You should fear no college student.
But crazy is terrifying. It's unpredictable. But also, I looked at a ton of pictures of the Sprouses next to other people to be like, height. But the only reason I bring it up, he's not a very big guy. He's not very imposing. Neither is his brother. That's fine. They're average height people. Great, cool. But if you want to be like a UFC fighter, you have to have the frame that can carry that much muscle to be that imposing. And he's just not. And like, even if he had worked out for a year to get Marvel levels of shredded, it would have only made him look smaller. I just think it was a weird casting choice.
I have not seen punches this comical since the movie Far and Away.
Mikey, you box. Am I out of line here?
This feels like an SNL sketch that goes on for an hour and a half.
It does.
Love it.
I honestly expected when there was a goofy sex scene that sounded like it was like scored by the Pentatonics. Like I half expected like it to cut over to fucking Andy Samberg and just be like, jizz in my pants. Like that's like the level of production quality. And, like, it's not even written that well.
It's like 3 SNL sketches because we have, like, the one of, like, the enemies to lovers and they're, like, sharing the bed. But then, like, they're together, but it's her seedy past. But then it's, like, another movie of him being they couldn't decide. These people have the craziest rom-com jobs ever where she's, like, a professional poker prodigy and he's a
wannabe UFC prodigy in jeans? In jeans? He fights in jeans this whole movie.
Also, I don't think they're doing UFC.
No, it's just underground street fighting.
Yeah, it's not UFC.
It does throw it back to what I would call the pinnacle of teen romance. In the OC, on the season after Marissa dies, Ryan joins the underground fighting ring as a 17-year-old.
Yes.
I mean, underground fighting rings are illegal, so it doesn't matter, I guess.
Similarly, when Archie gets sent away to juvie on Riverdale season 3 and is conscripted into an underground prison fight club. The reason I say UFC is because they're allowed to, like, it's kind of anything goes. They're allowed to kick, punch, you name it.
Would you say it's no holds barred, Paige?
Maybe.
Also, underground street fighting is actually no holds barred. Like, it's actually fighting. UFC is actually fighting. That's not what I mean. But there are some rules. Like, there's some...
Yeah.
I don't know that you're allowed to break into,
I thought his one fight was to the death.
Oh, the one in Vegas? Yeah.
The one in Vegas.
You know how UFC does those fights to the death?
But I guess I should be saying MMA as in mixed martial arts because it's multiple. He's punching, kicking, all of it.
I mean, you can punch and kick in street fighting. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's different from just boxing or whatever. So, like, it's more stuff. He kicks like 14 people in the face.
And man, he telegraphs it. Like, I'm like, calm down, Billie Jean.
I know some of this was stunt doubles, but he like monkey jungle gyms.
Hey, Mikey, where's your mic?
Uh-oh.
Wait, for this whole time? No!
Oh,
my
no!
God!
All right, let me give my thoughts on this film. My mic was not close to my face at any time. How do I sum this up in 3 seconds now that I forgot to put a mic in front of my face? I did not like it as much as After. I thought it was a giant SNL sketch. Whoops.
Good night. This book series has 3 novels and 6 spin-off novels.
I refuse to believe that anyone wrote this.
6 spin-offs? Like AI-generated ones?
No. So this is a new thing in romance novel world. I'm happy to explain. Where people will have, like, a book will do really well and they'll write whatever sequels, but they'll run the course of that main relationship that they have covered, right? Or what a lot of people will do is, like, book 1 is one relationship and then book 2 is like another character in that world's relationship and 3 is another character, right? So what they'll do with spin-off novels is like, okay, we've covered all the main people. Now here's a person we mentioned once or twice throughout the books, and they're going to have a whole adventure that kind of relates to this other stuff. But basically it's just an excuse for the author to be like, I have a writing style that you like and you already know characters in this world. Here's a book.
Here's a book is how this feels, I suppose. Because it's like
100.
It's like you took the script to After, put it all into Chat GPT, and then said, I don't know, give it some Fight Club / hornier vibes, and that's it.
This makes After look like 100 Years of Solitude. I mean, this is how bad this is.
I find After way more insufferable than, at least they had actual sex scenes in this, and we got to see people punch people, and they robbed a casino. Come on, what more do you want?
This is sexier. Nobody robs a casino in this movie. Who robbed a casino?
They kind of do, because the casino was trying to run the scam on her, and she still ends up with the money.
She just got her money back.
Yeah.
She robbed her dad, who's the worst.
Good.
Who I honestly thought for a long portion of time was her ex-boyfriend. Until we see him, and I'm like, oh, okay, no, that dude's old. Okay, no.
No, I clocked it immediately. Also, something that the movie did not telegraph that I think After goes out of their way to telegraph, and this didn't, much like After, because this is absolutely the same kind of a movie as After. She is supposed to be a virgin, but the movie does not talk about it and does not really display it that way.
It doesn't.
I picked up on the clues.
I picked up on clues too and went and looked it up, but the movie is not very explicit about that, as opposed to After, where it's like part of the bet and stuff. I had fun. It's bad. It's bad.
It is
and he's
bad.
Not good.
It is not good.
It's bad. But did I laugh myself to sleep last night? Yes. I had a good old time.
How does one laugh themselves to sleep.
I was exhausted.
Yeah.
But I also had to like church giggle so I didn't wake Jacob, but I was having a great time.
I honestly love just like church giggle Paige watching this.
Yeah.
Like all you see really is the shoulders bouncing as she's stifling these giggles.
Yes.
Because Travis said Pidge and she was like, it sounds like Paige. Oh.
No, it did creep me out that it kind of sounded like Paige. And I was like, this is the worst nickname ever.
Did it creep you out, Paige, or did it turn you on? Let's be honest.
No.
This is the Sprouse you love the most.
No, I am hardcore a Cole Sprouse person. Just putting it out there. But like,
Eat a dick, other Sprouse. I didn't realize that there was 2 of them. No, I did. But like,
Sprices. I think there's like 3 or 4.
is it Sprouse?
there's
Is
only
it
2.
Sprouse?
Sprice.
It's Sprouse. There's 2.
Bruce's.
No, when you're talking about more than one Sprouse, is it Sprice?
Sprices.
Yeah, like the Sprices on the sands of Arrakis.
The Sprice is right.
That one's the Sprice.
That one's, yeah.
That's the Sprice.
No, it weirded me out because it's not a natural nickname and it doesn't roll off the tongue easy. And my writer brain was like, no. And then when he explains it later, I was like, still no.
Oh no, the explanation is so insane. Because like,
It's crazy.
what is a pigeon? And she says, an annoying bird, which is what it is. And then he's like, what else is it? And I'm like, I don't know any other colloquialism
Rats
for pigeon.
of the sky?
So like,
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if pigeons could be bats of the sky, Paige, because they don't have the clackers.
No, rats.
You're my pigeon.
Rats of the sky because they're vermin.
Oh, there you go. Rats make sense. Yes.
Next time I date a girl, I'll be like, you're my hermit crab.
I would love that. I feel like if someone said I was like a hermit crab, I'd be like, I could see it.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I did make a joke with Jake the other day where I was like, would you love me if I was like decided to be an animal or whatever? And was listing off many animals. And I was like, just kidding. It would definitely be a cat. I'm fully a cat as a person. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, that was a little too honest.
I think Paige is maybe 5 or 6 episodes away from just coming out as a furry.
Oh,
like it feels like we're just getting
So
closer
close.
to that.
No.
Every time she brings up an animal.
Her biggest fantasy is if she was a rabbit and got pulled out of a hat by a magician.
No.
And that magician turned into a werewolf, like fully.
Okay, now I'm back in. But the suits would be too hot. That's what, I mean, there's many things that keep me from being a furry.
The suits aren't made to keep on, baby.
No, they are.
Sorry. I thought you meant like the magician suit. Sorry.
No. the fur suits.
Yeah.
No. But if I could be a cat, I think that'd be kind of fun.
I don't know. I've had sex wearing clothes, whatever.
Why?
Who gives a shit?
Oh, I have.
Being naked's one of the most fun parts.
No, I'm just saying, like, I have done it. It's not like my preference.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, like in a pinch.
Yeah.
I would have scared the other hikers.
I would have scared the other hikers.
I'll dress like a fox. Let's do it, babe. Like, what do we? I don't give a shit.
Oh, no. Not in the forest.
I'm not going to go where hunters are and dress like a fox.
That's what Mikey said. He was like, I would scare the hikers.
Y'all never fooled around outside? That's fine, whatever.
Oh, yeah, but not dressed as a fox.
No, not dressed as a fox. I mean, I was because I was in my regular clothes, you know what I'm saying?
I'm more of an alley person, not a forest person.
More of like a Dr. Seuss, like, I would do it in a house or I'd do it in the tree house. Or I'd do it, you know, if a mouse watches or whatever.
On a raft or in the bath.
It's been so long. Will you touch my dong?
Oh, rhyming.
Oh, wait, I have to bring something else up because I've been sitting on this the whole time.
Okay.
Did you all happen to see what his Instagram-ish handle was?
No, tell me.
Yes, I did.
I knew you would see it.
I did notice that it was photogram because they couldn't use the word Instagram, but then they still said Instastock. And I was like, no.
His Instagram handle is MattXXX.
How can you not love
So
this
good.
stupid
So
movie?
dumb, yeah.
But, I mean, if my name was Maddox, that's what my handle would be on everything.
Of course.
His name is Travis. He stole that from his older brother. It was his older brother's idea for sure, and he stole it. And I say that as a younger sibling.
Oh, his brothers are fucking bonkers. None of them look related at all. When we get there, we'll talk about it.
Yeah. But wait, maybe we should just go through it scene by scene, though.
Yes. First and foremost, this is the same studio as After, so you know we're in for some shenanigans. Secondly, it says Las Vegas. And I was like, oh, good, at least they told us this time. Except we don't see anything in Las Vegas. We just get a title card that's like Las Vegas, and then it's like boarding Vegas to Sacramento, and then it's like bus to Sacramento. Why did you show us Vegas? What is happening?
You just need to know that it exists.
It's madness from the beginning. I know Vegas exists. Everyone knows Vegas exists.
You just gotta be careful.
You just gotta set up that this lady is on the run from her father/possible ex-boyfriend, and then decided to go to the second semester of a college?
Well, so we know it's her father because she starts a crazy email in the boldest, weirdest font on a bus, a moving bus that probably doesn't have Wi-Fi.
I mean, but your cell phone will work on a bus, Paige.
She's not on her phone. She's on a laptop, Todd.
God
so she
damn
would have
it.
had to hotspot.
God
It's
damn
just
it.
like the Instagram and after.
I hated that so much. And I honestly, I have Instagram in the laptop of my Uber PTSD, and that triggered it. Ooh, I'm glad. I must have been taking notes and not seen that, because I would have lost my fucking mind.
It's exactly that bad. And it just says, Dad, sorry I ran off. I need a fresh start. I'm done bailing you out. And at this point, I was like, I bet he's a gambler.
Oh, did you put that together? Vegas?
Well, yeah.
And he's leaving, bailing you out? Yeah, of course.
You're a smart lady.
But like superimposed newspapers that are like Lucky 13, Pro Poker, which okay, we gotta fucking talk about it. Where is she playing poker?
Paige, I love that like Rain Man style montage of like us supposed to be like picking up on her whole backstory that's never gonna come up for like 40 minutes of this movie. It's insane.
We had much different experiences watching this film. Yeah, my experience was like, I feel physical pain. This is the first time I felt like the person on Mystery Science Theater where I was like, I think I'm being tortured. I need to build robots to help me enjoy this experience. And it was like the first moment where I was like, I've gotten there. I'm full circle.
And here's the thing. Do I think there are poker tournaments for teenagers? Yeah, sure. But you don't really win money. You win like college scholarships. So like, where is she a pro poker player that they would advertise it in newspapers and she'd be winning all this money? She can't legally gamble in almost any state.
I mean, apparently she can legally gamble in California, right? Because they say it.
Only at 18.
Oh, I know. And she is definitely like 18 or 19 in this movie.
Except that's actually not true. Gambling is illegal in California except for reservations or card rooms, which is the only way she can legally gamble in California is because she plays poker and not anything else. That's why we don't have slot machines or casinos. It's weird. They play fast and loose with laws in this movie. It's crazy. It's not well thought out.
I mean, listen, Paige, Sacramento High School only had Vegas for a weekend, so they had to shoot all those scenes quickly and get back on the bus back to Sacramento High. Because this feels like Sac High's, which is, they've got to be called Sac High, right?
Yeah, probably.
This is Sac High's high school production of this movie.
It's a big city. There's probably more than one high school. I'm just saying.
There's way more than one high school in Sacramento.
Oh, I know, but there's got to be a Sacramento high school, right?
Where did you go to high school? Nashville High School.
I'm gonna Google it. Hang on.
Todd, I'll save you the time. There are probably dozens of schools in Sacramento named after neighborhoods or people. I doubt there's just a Sacramento High because the city's so big.
Sacramento High School, originally founded
where
in
is it?
1856.
That makes sense. It's a very old city.
And they do go by Sac High.
Of course I would. But anyway, she runs off second semester because I think she didn't go to real school. I think he just homeschooled her. And so she had to like magic her way into college, which is also why she's like paying for college with poker winnings and cash because she's having to launder the cash.
Man,
the movie does not go into it.
No, they also don't go into how they could sleep on a bed that's been cut open and cash like stuffed in. That can't be comfortable.
Well, they don't. That's the bed in her dorm that she only sleeps on for like
That's
2
right.
nights.
Because she moves out real quick. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, we'll get into it because she moves out real fast. But we'll get to that in just a sec. So she gets to what I assume is Sac State, which is CSU Sacramento. But I have no idea what Sac State looks like, and it looks like they use footage of like 6 colleges in this. No 2 scenes of this school look the same.
At one point, it looked like it was a shot from like The Social Network, which is Harvard.
Yes.
And then in this shot, it looked like it was the TV show Boston Common.
Yes.
Like it's just wild different levels of production quality. Like it's crazy.
At one point, it looks like an ITT Tech,
Yes.
where it's just like on the side of a building. But then they'll show overhead shots that look like Cornell. And you're just like, I don't think this is Sac State. And I couldn't find in Fun Facts where it was.
Some overly stressed editor paid $89.99 for those, quote, university drone shots from Shutterstock, and that's what they threw in there.
I don't think they were stressed. I'm going to be honest with you.
Oh, this is really funny. I pulled up some photos of Sac State, and part of the reason this is so funny to me is because the overhead shots they use of the school as establishing shots all the time, part of the reason they look like Harvard is they're like white buildings, red roofs, brick buildings. It very much looks Ivy League. Sac State is much newer than that. And so I would like to show you guys a picture of Sac State so we can all laugh about this together. Are you ready? Can
ready.
you let me share the screen?
You should be able to already, yeah.
All right.
I figured you were going here, so I went ahead and turned it on.
Okay. This is Sac State. It is aggressively green.
Yes.
Which I think is very funny. But it looks like a very modern university. Like the logo on the side of an office building was the most accurate version of the 12 different versions of this school they give us.
Okay.
And she might be going somewhere else. They never say what college she's going to. She's just like, I'm going to college in Sacramento, and that would be the most likely option.
We only see her in one class, so like, I don't even know if she's really in college. She just like boyfriend up really quickly.
Yeah, I mean, her only other potential option would be Sacramento City College, but that's just a 2-year. So like, the only one that really makes sense would be CSU Sac.
Sac State.
Sac State. Anyway, she gets there. She meets a girl who we will find out is her roommate, but they seem to have known each other previously. We don't know how.
We get no backstory.
We never find out how they met. And the backstory we have so far and have for the rest of the movie is that she was like carted around by her dad as a poker prodigy to make money. At what point would she have had regular friends? Never.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yet this girl seems to like have known her for years.
Like childhood best friend. Like that level.
Yes!
It was wild.
Wild.
I also didn't realize until way too late in the movie that her name was short for America.
Yeah, America.
Yeah, well, she calls her Mare through most of the movie.
Mare.
Like M-E-R, I guess.
Yeah.
And the first time she calls her by her, let's just say government name, America.
Sure. America.
Like she says, I don't know what to do, America. And I was like, is she talking directly to us as people? And then Natalie was like, her friend's name is Mare, like America. And I was like, oh, okay. Okay.
I thought she was doing a bit.
When they broke up because she doesn't want kids and then they got right back together, I was like, y'all didn't really settle this issue too much.
Yeah.
Oh, but Mikey, when that fight's going on, I was like, this is the only part of the movie that feels like an actual college experience. Because I saw that fight or variations of that fight and then immediate rekindle in the same night so many times.
Well, yeah, you don't have that talk at 19 until way later on.
I don't know. I'd probably talk about it early-ish on in the relationship, but like, do you want to have kids eventually? Yeah, sure. You know?
Yes, but that did feel like a real...
It felt like a real college fight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I also feel like it's a real drunk people fight. The one thing that I feel like this movie did kind of hilariously well is portray young drunk people. Because, like, no, he said he didn't want to have kids and we're going to cry, but we're going to get back together. I was like, this is every sorority party.
That's what I mean. Like, the subject matter of the fight is not necessarily what I was talking about.
Doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it could have been any subject matter. But yeah, I've seen that fight a million times when I was in college.
A million. But yeah, when she was like, come on, America, I was like, okay, Bernie Mac, like, what are you doing? What's wrong with you? Crazy. As much nonsense as happens in this movie, they move like from weird plot to weird plot
There's
to
so
weirder
much-
plot to
yeah,
weird plot.
Paige, there's so much plot in this movie, and it's not very long. Like,
No,
but it feels
crazy.
long.
94 minutes. It feels like a week and a half.
I know, it's insane.
So she meets her roommate. They go to the dorm, which is where she finds out that her roommate has already kind of shacked up with another dude and barely lives there.
Yeah.
And he's some sort of bland dude that we will occasionally meet whose name is Shepley.
I think it was Shipley. Was it Shepley?
Shepley. That's why
Okay.
they call him Shep for short.
Did they? Okay.
Okay.
Shepley.
I
yeah.
paid enough attention to this movie. I did think that it was real bro of him to come down to that fight in Vegas and then involuntarily be pulled into what was a doubles match or whatever you call it. And what is this, wrestling?
Yeah, Shep is best bro. Shep is loyalist, bestest bro.
Yeah.
We stand Shep.
Yeah, everyone needs a Shep in their life.
Everyone does. So she's like, oh, I got to study. And they're like, it's literally the first day. Fuck your studying. We're going to go to this underground fighting ring. Come with us. And she's like, what?
The fact that she was saying I have to study is so insane to me because she just got to school that day. There wasn't class.
She has not been to class.
What are you studying?
She doesn't have a syllabus. She doesn't have anything. This movie was written by clueless people
Yes.
or maybe aliens. I don't know.
It was written by the drama department at Sacramento High School. That's what it was. And they were like, listen, let us shoot this on our weekend in Vegas.
She started late. What? She's doing an independent study. Who knows?
I mean, we do find out she read ahead. So that's the only thing that I can logic in the movie that happened is that she was just reading ahead. But anyway, they go to the school's underground fight ring and we have to fucking talk about it because A, it is called The Circle. B, everyone knows about it. Like, you know how you're not supposed to talk about Fight Club? Everyone has talked about this Fight Club. It is the one thing everyone on campus wants to do. People know who Travis Maddox is. People are into it. People regularly go, and it has not been shut down yet. What is happening?
What's happening is, I think, what that generation thought Fight Club was.
Maybe.
And that makes me sad for everyone in Chuck Palahniuk.
Fair. Can I tell you what my dad and two of my uncles have started doing as their new hobby because they are now all basically retired?
I know the answer to this because I saw it.
Did Dad tell you about it?
No, I saw it, and I texted him when I saw it because I loved it. Please go on, though.
They're super into underground wrestling matches, like amateur wrestling, where people have like full characters and it's like a whole production. And it's like $25. And they go watch essentially the equivalent of that Always Sunny episode with the Eagles of Thunder. They're watching that in real life regularly live. And I can't wait to go. Get me tickets. If I went to this college, I'd be at this fucking circle every night. I would be all about it. Like, I get why people would go.
Well, yeah, if they're like, oh, down by that bar, the freshman bar, there's also the underground fighting ring that you can go to.
Hell yeah.
And get a good beer there. I'd be like, what? There's an underground fighting ring?
Here, okay, I want to pitch a crazier version of this movie. Is that it is still an underground fighting ring, but they have characters like wrestling. That'd be so much more fun, even just for the few scenes.
I mean, that's sort of where this goes, though. Like, that is what happens in
That
Vegas.
is at the end of the movie.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
That dude's his legal name is not Chernobyl.
You don't know that, Todd. You don't know what orphanage he was born into in the Eastern Bloc. But you're right. It's probably not Chernobyl.
What I want is professional wrestling mixed with real fighting where like the storylines evolve depending on how good of a fighter you actually are.
Isn't that just the movie Kickboxer?
It is. I think I prefer my dad and uncle's version. It is literally all story and all play fighting, where it's like, I don't know if any of these people are good fighters, but I know that they have like come up with drama and stakes. And I'm here for it. And costumes. Full costume.
All right, so Paige,
Yeah.
if you were a wrestler, what would your name be in this league
man.
that your dad goes to watch?
I feel like I would have to lean into being some sort of small gnome creature.
I honestly could see you running like a pub that like Frodo goes to, you know?
Yeah, I'm thinking I would just go by feral, but I would dress like a raccoon and just claw at people's eyes.
I love that for you, Mikey.
How about y'all?
Same question.
Yes.
Oh, that's a hard one. I honestly don't know. Let's see. Probably just Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh my God, I'm dumb. I should have just gone with Jog Dog.
Jog
I should have
Dog.
just
Yeah,
become
Jog
the
Dog.
embodiment of Jog Dog. Jog Dog! Oh, oh!
Wreck-It Ralph, just a big, clumsy-ass wrestler.
There you go.
Who's a villain, but he's not quite a villain.
He's a villain who doesn't realize he's the villain. That's what it is.
No, I like Wreck-It Ralph where he thinks he's the villain, but he's actually like nice to kids and stuff. And then
Okay,
I like
okay.
that. I like that part of the property.
Yeah, he's just clumsy, honestly.
Todd, what about you?
I can't explain it, but for some reason, the ballerina feels right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Tutu and everything, or you could just go in leotard.
Oh, so I was thinking that I would bring Schnucka with me and she would be Tutu. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, but me in a full just leotard.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I mean, it would be like wrestling was in the 80s, like that sort of thing.
Okay. So you're going to dress like full Black Swan.
Think Ric Flair.
Okay.
Okay.
But with a tutu vest.
Oh, like a ballerina theme, Ric Flair?
Yeah, I'm here
that.
for this.
Yeah,
I'm
I
super
honestly
here for
hadn't
this.
thought into it this much. I just thought that it would be funny if that was what I picked. And then when y'all asked me to dig deeper,
Yeah, and I feel like you need to enter the ring and just plie.
I plie the fool.
That's fine.
Can I tell you about the funniest story my dad has had from this wrestling adventure?
Yes.
The last time they went, they tried to sit right up front because they're super fans now. And a guy was like on the mat, like 3 feet away from them. And he's like, move. You guys need to move. And they look across, and outside the ring are 2 other guys running. And so my dad and my uncles just scatter as the 2 running guys jump through the ropes and crash through the folding chairs they were just sitting in. How is this not worth more than $25? I gotta go. I gotta see it for myself.
You do.
I'd be an immediate super fan.
I like wrestling. If I had the time, I'd get back into wrestling. It's basically Shakespeare for trailer trash people.
It's like a soap opera with leotards. I also love Medieval Times, which I feel is just horse wrestling.
I have been to Medieval Times twice. I'd definitely go a third. That's where it sits for me. Like, I wouldn't say it's awesome. I'd go again, though.
I went for my 21st birthday and got trashed, and the guy that was our horse dude.
They're called knights, Paige.
Great. I was drunk.
Horse dude.
Horse dude looked like Duff Goldman from Ace of Cakes. And so the entire time he was jousting, we were like, Ace of Cakes! Ace of Cakes! And he hated us.
I can't imagine why.
Yeah,
Who's to say?
how did that happen?
I don't know. It certainly wasn't my fault. Anyway, College Fight Club. And they have this one guy who's like the challenger, who's like one of the varsity wrestlers. And they're like challenging him, Travis, Mad Dog, Maddox. And everyone loses their shit.
Yeah. I mean, this is not their first night at the Circle, Paige. They know what's for sale. Yeah.
And she's like, this is not for me. I'm going to go stay. And she turns around and walks right into him, hand on his tattooed pecs. And she's just like, oh shit, oh my God. And he's like, yeah, I gotta go. Can you move? I gotta go fight.
He's like, you like what you see? I've been working on it for a month. He's not that big. That's all I'm saying. He's in great shape, but he's not hulked out like Chris Evans was or anything,
No, he's in great shape for a Sprouse. And by that, I mean, if he took his shirt off, you'd be like, wow, I didn't know Sweet Life had it like that. But he's not in great shape for MMA fighting. It's he'd take off it and you're like, dude, you're going to get your ass handed to you. Not that you're not in good shape. You look great for you, but Chris Evans would rip your spine out of your asshole. This is all bad. God, heaven forbid you come up against a Hemsworth. You wouldn't survive.
At any level. I mean, at all the yeah.
They grew up fighting spiders. So
you're never going to win.
Never.
They have 7 legs.
+1.
What the fuck?
What?
Sorry, I just got a news notification on my phone. The My Pillow guy died? Oh no, he just looks bad. Okay.
I think you got to change your notification filters.
Yeah, you got to change your notification filters from hey, this just in, the My Pillow guy looks like he's dead.
He did look dead in that photo though, and somebody posted the photo with R.I.P. Mike Lindell. So I can excuse myself for thinking that he might have been dead. And we were about to have so many opportunities for dead pillow jokes. But that aside, anyway, so he starts fighting the guy, but he's distracted. And he kind of circles back around to her on the circle and is like, are you new here? And she's just like, huh? And then he gets punched because he's distracted. So he turns back around and punches blood from that guy's face onto her sweater.
And face.
And literally knocks the guy out and goes over and catches her as she goes to like, pass out. And he's like, sorry, I don't think you standing here is a good thing. Sorry about your sweater, but like, you're distracting. And
sorry about your sweater.
Pigeon. Ugh.
When the blood hit her in the face, remember the stranger's blood that hit her in the face?
Bloodborne pathogens.
Yeah, and she reacts like it's the sexiest thing she's ever been a part of. I was like, that is not sexy at all.
She got them blood fetish.
I mean, maybe.
Hear me out. If Captain America punched a dude to death in front of you and you caught some of the spray, would you not be like, oh, what? Huh? Just me? Just me. That's okay. We don't need to go into this further.
Cover me with your blood, Cap.
No, other people's blood.
Oh, you're drinking it now. What is happening? I don't like this at all.
You wouldn't drink Captain America's blood? What are you, gay?
I don't even know where to start with that sentence. First of all, I like that it was gay instead of un-American. That's very funny to me.
That's
Secondly,
why he said it. It was great.
The fact that not drinking Captain America's blood is what would make you gay.
100%. Yeah.
This hurts. Sorry.
We've been tickling Paige really good tonight, Mikey. Like, I just want to congratulate you and I specifically on hitting Paige's dumb humor funny bone.
She's got that tickle monster.
I nailed her with that one we had to cut out, and then you nailed her with that.
Oh, that was so good, though. I'm so sorry.
No, I wasn't as confident in the joke because I was like, this could be too far. But I say leave it in.
No, I
believe in it.
I think it definitely played like a parody. You know what I hate, though? When I'm listening to a podcast and then someone does make an arguably fucking amazing joke and then they all congratulate each other on the joke for like 20 minutes.
I don't know. I don't listen to podcasts.
Oh, God. Anyway, she goes home to her apartment and has a fantasy of him in the shower, which, like, hey, as much as I shit on the physique not being appropriate for the fighting in the movie, I would watch him shower. Absolutely.
Although she's the one in the shower and she's just visualizing him, right?
Yes.
And she is definitely having a good time.
Yes, she visualizes him in the shower, though.
Oh, sure, yeah, but they're not together, though. There's another shower sex scene later that we have to discuss.
No, there's a comedy, if we call it that.
Sex attempt.
We'll have
sex
to,
attempt.
That's the scene that's scored by the Pentatonics. We'll get there.
Where they destroy an entire hotel room. We'll get to it in a second. Anyway, this is where we get the scene from the trailer where he's in the shower and he's like, "What's up, pigeon?" And I was like, that would ruin it for me. The second he said pigeon, I'd just be like, no, they're gross. Don't touch them. They probably have worms. Anyway, she comes out of the shower and digs into her mattress for cash. This has never been established. This is madness, although we have to assume it's poker winnings. And she goes to like the bursar's office to pay for her school.
Yes, she does.
What?
Before we get there,
sure.
How long has she been at college up to this point?
I think only 2 days.
It's at most 1 or 2 nights, right?
Right.
So she like cut that hole in her mattress day one. She got there and like just hacked up the mattress immediately?
The second mayor leaves, she hacks into that mattress. And by the way, those are like dorm issued mattresses. So like, she's not going to get her security deposit back. That's all I'm saying.
And okay, she went through all that trouble to go Mike Myers on her mattress to hide her millions or whatever. And then she leaves that mattress in her room and moves out for a month.
I know. And then they go back to the room later looking for her and find the money. She didn't even take it with her. She doesn't even make trips back to re-up on her cash.
It's real dumb, Paige. This movie is real dumb.
It's crazy. But also, so she takes the cash to the bursar's office and the bursar's like, I obviously can't accept this because I don't know where it came from. And admittedly, because she's probably playing underground poker illegally, she would have had to launder that money. That's why she only has cash and why she doesn't have a bank account. Because like, she couldn't just randomly deposit that. Like, she would have needed to pay taxes or whatever. So the bursar's like, yeah, we don't do this, but I'll make an exception for you. How much you want to bet she just pocketed that cash?
Oh, you mean what I would have done.
Of course.
Yeah, they're like, you're on scholarship.
At least for this semester. Feel free to re-up next semester, sis. Let's do this.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, she does tell her, she's like, I haven't spoken to my mom, which I bet later in this series she finds her mom at some point. But she's like, my dad's a bad guy. I have to sort it out or whatever. We cut to her having lunch in like the quad with Mare and Shep. And she's just like, yeah, I guess like when the money runs out, I'll figure it out. But like, who was that one guy with the tattoos? And they were like, oh, that's Shep's cousin, Travis. He also goes to college here. He also happens to be right behind her.
This is only the first time he shows up while she's talking about him to somebody else.
Real Jason Voorhees energy.
This only happens 4 more times.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is basically a slasher.
Yeah.
And he shows up and is like, hey, have we met? And they're like, yeah, you ruined her sweater last night. You met her last night. And he's like, Pigeon. And she's like, my name is Abby. And he's like, I don't know her.
He's like, I don't respect boundaries, so
Yeah,
I'm going to call you Pigeon forever.
Real talk, I might be terrifyingly violent and sad and maybe drink too much.
Oh, my dating profile.
Oh no. I do love that he's like, I'm everybody's type. And I was like, honestly, terrifying. But that's the confidence that we all need to bring into the world sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, when you got that imposter syndrome and you're like, I don't know if I should wear the crop top. You're everybody's type sometimes.
You're everybody's crop top.
That's right. Anyway, we cut to her in class. I don't know what kind of class this is where they're talking about game theory and she's applying it to like, I don't know what this is. And it might be me being dumb.
It's not.
I'm probably a little dumb.
Sure, everybody's a little dumb some of the time.
This movie is not smarter than you, Paige. We need to get away from that.
This movie's not smarter than you. That's fair.
Oh, but this is the scene where she is like scrolling through his, let's just say Instagram profile. That's where I saw that,
Sure.
the Mad XXX.
Amazing.
And he just shows up right behind her again.
Yeah.
Like over her shoulder and is like, oh, that's one of my favorites. And it's like a sexy picture of him.
Yeah, because she's Insta-stalking him.
Exactly. Yeah. And he like catches her doing that. And so they like start to chat a little bit. And then the teacher butts in and she's like, lady whose name I don't think is important enough to remember, even though you're the main character of this movie. What? And she's like, explain like game theory to me or whatever.
Yeah,
and so
whatever.
she does. And the teacher responds to her answering the question correctly, more or less, by like saying, have you been reading ahead? But not like in a, oh my God, you've been reading ahead. But she said it like she meant, what are you, a fucking nerd?
Yeah.
Like she was like, oh, have you been reading ahead? Like it was so funny to me the way she delivered that line.
When she's like, well, yeah, she's like, come on!
Yeah, stupid
no!
idiot reading ahead.
Goddamn nerds ruining my lecture!
I hate it when students show interest in the class I teach.
Fucking nerds.
I want to win them over like Dangerous Minds.
I even flipped my chair backwards.
That's how they knew I was one of them.
Anyway, he's like, all right, I'll pick you up at 8. And she's like, you don't have my number. He disappears. He shows up in a motorcycle. She's not dressed up. She's just in sweats and it's just like, it's not a date, so I'm just hanging out. And he's like, okay, fine.
But Paige, in fairness to her, every time he asked her out, the like 7 times he did in the last scene, she said no.
Yes.
She should not even have been outside at this time.
Yeah, I don't know why she was waiting. He is a stalker.
I mean, we know why she was waiting.
I mean, yeah, she was sproused up.
He
but
punched that sweet, sweet blood into her face and she got a new kink.
she got infected with some Sprouse disease.
Honestly, if you pause it right when the blood hits her face, you can see like a pop-up video bubble that come up and then just say kink unlocked.
Ooh. Like,
oh, yeah.
It's just that meme of Jim Rash from Community. It's just,
Yeah.
I hope this doesn't unlock anything.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that meme.
Anyway, she gets on the bike. They go to have food. They do something that Riverdale does that drives me nuts when Riverdale does it. I laughed out loud when I saw it here. And it is Chime product placement, where he goes to like pay for food and it's just a shot of the Chime card on the like console, just like bling, bling. And like Riverdale does it every once in a while, just like, thanks, I'll pay for it with my Chime card. And I was like, did they really make characters do this? Like, but it's that kind of insane, blatant product placement that makes me laugh every time.
Yeah.
Anyway, they decide that they're going to be friends.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, neither of them are putting out the let's just be friends vibe, but yeah,
No.
they do say those words.
They're like, your dick should be friends with my, yeah, but No. And they talk about their family, except, well, rather he does. She stays mysterious.
Well, I mean, yeah, she's in a similar situation to what he is, kind of. I mean, she doesn't know where her mom is or whatever, but his mom is dead. And like, don't you hate it when someone uses like a close family member who's passed away to like gain your sympathy on a first date? Isn't that the worst? / how I got Natalie.
How many of the guys on that date really sympathized with your story?
I honestly should have brought it up that night. You're right.
Should have.
It might have helped.
I mean, you could do like he does, where she's like making fun of him. Like, basically like, oh, does your mom do your laundry? He's like, no, because she's dead. He just like immediately high roads her.
I mean, there's a moment in the last fight, right before it happens, where someone yells out at him, I'm going to fuck your mom. And he goes, well, she's dead, so you can't. And I was like, love it.
That's actually the next fight.
Oh, is it the next fight? Sorry.
It's the next one, because I laughed out loud at it.
I was like, love it.
Love.
And honestly, the Sprousey, I think he's great. I think he does a great job in this movie. I also think he's pretty much the only one who's doing great.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with you. But I also think that, like, we will get to it later, but there are shocking and sharp character changes for him that concern me.
You think he may be a little manic during part of this movie?
I think so.
Yeah.
I certainly think so.
It's called cocaine, Paige.
It definitely looks like it.
That's what I was gonna say that. I was like, I don't know. We're gonna need some more collateral information here.
I'm not even joking. He has the confidence of people who are currently on cocaine.
Yes, I know. I agree with you.
Yeah.
There's no mystery, or because it's fighting a Rey Mysterio. Like, we know.
Fucking nerd.
We know. It's crays.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's fighting for college money. That's the reason he does it. She doesn't tell him anything.
And by college money, you mean tuition, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We all got to do what we got to do. Then she gets into campus rideshare and just leaves. Just like in the middle of a sentence. Just like, bye-bye.
Well, I mean, this wasn't a date. I was sort of on her side. I was like, why'd you even show up?
Yeah.
But the coolest thing about that rideshare is there was no driver in that car.
I didn't notice.
She gets in the back like it's a fucking Uber and there's no driver in the car. And in my mind, I was like, well, it doesn't move. So it's probably not one of those like autonomous vehicles that I'm sure exists somewhere in the world.
No, I think they just didn't have an extra to be sitting in the driver's seat.
I think it's a self-driving car. It's Sacramento, the home of self-driving sack of cars.
Sacks of cars.
Anyway, we cut to the next day. She is walking across campus and she's kind of like working out in the like park or whatever. She picks up a Frisbee and goes to throw it back to the person who threw it, and she Frisbees a dude in the dick.
Yes. His name is Parker.
His name is Parker, and he's not crying. It's just the wind.
And he's about twice the size of Maddox.
He's massive and also 40. Like,
how did y'all learn the names of everyone? I'm so impressed.
He introduces himself many times.
Yeah.
And they refer to him as his name is Parker.
He is so not her interest throughout this whole movie that even he knows he has to give her his full name every time they meet. Like at the end of the movie, when he goes to kiss her, like as a point, I fully expect he thought she was going to pull away. Like,
yeah.
I think he was just like proving a point. Like, you're not into me, clearly.
Yeah.
I have to tell you my full name every time we speak.
Yeah.
Oh, is Parker? Okay. I'm getting it.
Parker's the 40-year-old man who like thought he hit it off well when he was there for Visit Your Daughter on Campus Day. And so he just got an extended stay nearby and tried to seal the deal with his co-ed.
Nice.
He fully looks the same age as her dad.
100%. They were castmates on 90212, which has to be the sequel for 90210. Wait, it would be 90211. Why can't we do sequels right, Paige? Paige is losing it.
I was almost like, hell yeah, he nailed it. No. What?
No.
He skipped over one.
I do think it's funnier that I fucked it up, but it's embarrassing.
Anyway, they talk a lot about his balls because she Frisbeed him right in the dick.
She does say, you should go put ice on your balls. And he goes, you should put ice on my balls. And I was like, that's funny.
But then he doesn't stick around to see if she's down.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you offering?
I don't think she was offering, though. But Down is also a 311 song, so.
Yeah. Down.
Yeah.
Down.
There was no 311 songs in this movie.
Not a single one.
No, only the title. Yeah.
Only the title.
Ouch.
They couldn't even give us something to enjoy.
Amber is the color of the alert they put out on her when she runs to Vegas. Anyway, she goes back to the dorm and the water's been shut off. And the RA said they'd be out of water for 24 hours. Which, like, girl, pull your hair back in a ponytail and put on extra deodorant. We can live. Like, what's happening? But instead, she goes to stay with Mare and Shep, only to find out that Travis lives there too.
Yeah, and that she's automatically sleeping in his bed because the couch isn't an option.
I don't think that was the original plan, so I have no idea how and why she ends up in his bed. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, no idea.
It's weird, right?
It is very weird.
It makes no sense. It's weird, especially because, like, she gets a voicemail from her dad. It's one of the craziest voicemails I've ever heard because it's just like, babe, where are you? Which definitely they're trying to make it sound like a boyfriend, but I'm like, this is clearly her dad.
But, like, I think he said baby.
He said babe. I wrote it down because I rewound it and I was like, ugh.
Yeah, either way, I was like, and I don't have a daughter, nor have I ever been a daughter, so I don't know if it's normal to call your daughter babe or baby.
It's happened to me, yeah.
But that felt weird to me, but again, I have no experience with that.
I think it's a weird voicemail move for a dad.
I think it's a weird voicemail move. I also think it was a weird intonation.
Because it was said like baby, like a term of endearment baby.
Yeah, like it would not be crazy to me for my dad to be like, thanks, babe. Like, thanks for doing that or whatever.
Yeah. I could see that. It was that like, I don't know, man. It felt weird.
It did because he started a voicemail the way my husband would have, like, hey, babe, this, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
My dad would not start a voicemail that way. He'd be like, hey, Dub, here's what's up. So, like, yeah, it was strange.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wrote it down because it felt weird to me, but I also was like, I don't fucking know, though. Like, yeah, that might be normal.
I think this is them trying to throw us off the scent of him being her dad.
It is.
Even though they very clearly presented that her dad would be in the picture in this way earlier in the movie. So it's like the only thing we could possibly infer.
Yeah.
Anyway, she hears sex noises upstairs, and instead of just like staying within earshot and having a good time on her own, she goes and peeping Toms and sees them in flagrante.
Oh, yeah.
Like
doing some acrobatics.
It was, well, I mean, it was sex.
Yeah.
But like, they show way more in this movie than they do in the after movies.
Oh, yeah. That's why I was like, yay, good job. We see a lot of butt, though.
We see that dude's butt like 4 times.
We see his butt like 4 times, which is not the part that I'm really looking forward to seeing. I would have taken more shoulder over butt, personally.
He's not even super caked up.
I mean, he's caked enough. Like, it's cakey. It's there. You could grab a slice.
That boy a brownie at best.
You could blow some candles out.
Gross. I knew you were a cake farter, Paige. I knew it.
No, absolutely not. Unless there's money involved.
She's dressed up like a raccoon and gonna come sit in your cake and just wail on it.
Yep. Anyway, she goes back downstairs because he fully sees her. He like locks eyes with her while he's like 4.5 inches deep into this lady. And like, she was like, oh no, and runs away. And then the girl comes downstairs in French, no subtitles, and hands her number.
Yeah.
And she's like, can you give this to Travis? Which, first of all, why wouldn't she just give it to him herself? Secondly, how does she even get there if he didn't have some way to contact her?
Smoke signal.
He probably just picked her up like they were at a bar and he brought her home.
I guess on the street. Anyway, she goes back to the room to give her the note and he's like, no, this was her trying to like stake her claim and mark her territory. I have her info because I used a consent app.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing. Has that been a thing since you guys have been dating?
No. But I mean, cool. I haven't fucking dated.
Not getting a girl's number? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I was really good at not getting a girl's number.
How about the other 4 guys on the date?
Paige, I was like Babe Ruth at that bar. I'd be like, see that lady? I ain't going to get her number.
He's right every time.
Consent app.
It sounds like a good idea in theory.
Is it a thing? Hang on.
I feel like it has to be, right?
It would be very hard to prove because, like, you could unlock someone's phone with their face and get them to click yes or whatever.
Yeah, but unless it was like a thing beforehand with like 2-factor authentication.
But you could still fake it if you have access to the phone.
I mean, unless you had to do it with a separate. So the one I have for work requires 2 separate devices. So you would have to log in. But still, I mean, in theory, I understand the desire to have this. I just don't know the mechanics because I've never used one.
I am intrigued.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
Anyway, like for some reason, she was like cramming for her test on the couch. And then she moves into his bed and he's like, no, sleep there because we're not going to have sex. So just sleep. It'll be fine. But like, it's not like she's going to sleep there, he's going to sleep on the couch. He fully is just going to sleep next to her in the bed.
But Paige, it's a twin bed.
No, it's definitely a college full, which Jake and I slept on for like the first 4 years we were together.
That's a tight fit, man. Like that.
That was a tight fit.
Yeah.
We're a wide-shouldered people. Anyway, so she's studying, she needs a highlighter, so she goes for the drawer, and it's just full of condoms and sex toys, which don't share sex toys.
You just have to assume they're all for him.
I guess, yeah, maybe. That makes sense. I mean, there's definitely a cock ring in there, which is, I assume, for him. But the vibrator, I'm like, oh no, I'll bring my own. Thank you. Like,
but also, Paige, the beads that she picks up with her hand.
Benoit balls. They're Benoit balls. Yeah.
Like, there's no way those are not somewhat dirty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is a college boy's room. Those have not been washed.
They're also fairly large Benoit balls, and I think for comedic effect.
Yes,
right?
of course.
So they're like Chris Benoit balls.
I feel like if you're going to incorporate toys, you A, need to discuss it, and B, probably shop for some together or bring the ones that would be used on you and don't reuse them on a bunch of other people without a ton of sterilization.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all agreeing with you, Paige. There's nothing else to say about this except ew.
Yeah, except I've never seen a vibrator that looks like that. That was a very weird looking vibrator.
It looked more like a pregnancy test. Like it was a weird shape.
It looks like a little girl's wand toy. Like if you put like a star on the end of it.
I don't like that at all.
I don't like it either.
Yeah, I can see how you got there.
Or an electric toothbrush where you just took the top of the toothbrush off it, which I know. Hey, girls, I know you be doing that. But like, that's not the thing you keep in the drawer. Like, did you guys not know about the electric toothbrushes?
No.
Okay.
Of course. I assume everything that vibrates is getting humped.
Of course. Anyway, it was a very strange choice. And I was like, why didn't you guys just pick the classic, like, one color turn thing at the end, like the one from Spencer's that everyone gets? Anyway, he goes and showers. She watches him get dressed after the shower and pretends to be asleep. And then he climbs in bed next to her. And what happens the next morning is the craziest, most problematic, but also weirdest scene in this fucking movie.
Oh, have you never seen someone pretend to sleep and molest someone else?
While pretending that they're petting a cat, but also this is definitely a prosthetic, and it's massive because they needed it to be big enough to show through the blankets. And I'm like, no offense, he'd be passing out. If that was
He's got that fruit bat dick. You know what I'm saying? Like it passed his nips.
He got that fruit bat dick. You know, it's a whole handful and a half. And
it's definitely a two-hander. Yeah, for sure.
It's a two-hander. Which, hey, I didn't know Sweet Life had it like that. But like, it was crazy. And then she just keeps going, and I'm like, girl, fucking stop. Like, this is not okay. It's not okay just because it's a girl. This is not okay. Please stop touching him. And then it becomes this like argument of like, hey, you were trying to give me a hand job. No, I wasn't, blah, blah, blah. And the roommates come in because they hear the argument, and it's the morning, and they are dressed for like their starting role play.
Yes.
Like, this is not after sex role play. Like, they like woke up, got out of bed, and were like, morning sex is for noobs. This is advanced course.
They are
I love it for
college
them.
people who are so bored with regular sex. They have to like really spice up their morning sex, and I love that for them.
I don't know if you're familiar with the Britannic sketch about role play, but they are dressed like those people.
Fucking love Britannic.
Yeah, but it's the one that's like, I'm a nurse, try Tide. Like
Yeah.
That sketch is what they look like. If you don't know about it, YouTube it or something.
That existed at a golden age of like YouTube content creation. That was like golden days of crack too.
So good.
You know what I really loved in this movie, Mikey?
What'd you love?
There weren't any scenes that people were preparing food and it was like just taking forever. You know what I'm saying?
I wish there was a solution to that.
There's got to be a better way, Mikey.
I feel the same way, where sometimes meals are hard to cook and prepare for consumption.
You know what you should do, Mikey? You should get some Factor meals.
Factor meals?
Boom! Factor ad! Gotcha! This bit is only funny to us the night we recorded all of these together.
I feel like we weren't good at hiding this one. They call me a 2-minute man because I only eat Factor meals and they take 2 minutes to prepare.
That's why they call you that. Listen, you should sign up and save. We've done the math. Factor is less expensive than takeout. And Factor meals are at least dietitian approved. I can't say that for the takeout I had delivered tonight.
Todd, Factor Fiction. Does Factor only have dinner options?
I actually know this one. Fiction.
It's fiction.
It is.
They have other options like pancakes and breakfast and midday bites and more. Midday bites, a common phrase for things.
Midday bites. Mikey, I love that they're going to hear you at this level of energy, and then we're going to cut back to a Romance in the Pod episode where you're hella low energy. I'm going to love it. Okay, but while you're super high energy about factormeals.com, tell them where they should go, Mikey.
They should go to factormeals.com/romancingthepod50 and use the code romancingthepod50 to get 50% off. That's code romancingthepod50 at factormeals.com/romancingthepod50 to get 50% off. That's really close to a majority off.
It is very close to it. It's 50%. It's half, Mikey. It's half off.
Half off.
The comfort of your favorite seat is now your comfy car selling command center, thanks to Carvana.
It doesn't get any better than this.
Your favorite seat's the best spot in the house. Make it even better by entering your license plate or VIN and getting a real offer in minutes.
There really is no place like home.
And speaking of home, Carvana will pick up your car from yours after you finalize your offer. Visit Carvana.com or download the app and sell your car from your comfy place.
She runs to class in her pajamas because she's just I gotta get out of here, away from the very fake under blanket dick.
I mean, she did just sexually assault somebody, so she is now fleeing from the scene of the crime.
She did not have him sign the consent app at all. He said stop. She kept going and meowing like a cat. I hated every second of that.
I think she said bad kitty 4 times.
Bad kitty. Which, hey, I have handled many a cat in my day, including my own.
Paige.
And you know
College
what?
is confusing. I get it.
You know what?
Then they got sprayed with the water bottle.
Yeah, you know what? They never felt like a dick. That's not what cats feel like ever. Not something you would confuse.
I've never seen a cat with a tail that girthy.
No, I would assume they had a tumor of some sort. I'm not kidding. It was giving me flashbacks to when I was in college and 2 of my sorority sisters lived in an apartment with a guy who we just colloquially called Baby Arm.
Oh, God. What? He had a big old dick, Mikey.
He was fucking massive and he used to walk around naked all the time. And then flash forward to a few years and I'm at a friend's wedding and we're sitting at a table with a bunch of other sorority sisters and that guy and my sister next to me. And I was like, what's Baby Arm's real name? We're at a wedding. We can't just be like, how you been, Baby Arm? What's good in your neck of the woods?
What's good in your dick neck of the woods?
What's good in your dick neck of the woods? We had to telephone around the table, whisper to what's Baby Arm's real name? And then finally somebody was like, John. We were like, that's underwhelming.
You know
Great.
What was actually very sweet though was when his baby's arm gave that toast to the bride and groom. Very tasteful.
Just out of his fly, just yeah.
Voiced by Nick Kroll for no reason.
I feel like if I'm gonna have a dick voiceover, Jason Mantzoukas is my pick every time.
Honestly, Jason, you can voice my dick any day.
I want Alvin.
And the Chipmunks?
No, you have to pick one. I can't have 3 voices.
Okay. I was going to say, if we finish this episode and you have not had enough of screaming about this film, How Did This Get Made also did an episode, and Jason loved this movie.
Of course. This is up his alley for sure.
It is up his alley. It broke June. It's a fun listen.
I feel like Jason and I would be friends.
Maybe.
Because we both do this and we both were drummers.
Oh, that's right. He was a drummer.
Yeah.
Anyway, she runs to class in her pajamas. She goes to jump over a guy laying and reading on the quad and fully kicks him directly in the head. He has a concussion and she doesn't even care. She just keeps going.
Yeah, she's in college.
She's in college. We cut to later where she is covered in mud, but she did ace her test that she overslept for. But she talks to Mare and she's like, Mick is still bothering you. And she's like, I cut him out of my life, but he's still texting you, blah, blah, blah. Mare kind of is like, so maybe you like Travis? Maybe Mare is like kind of needling it.
I mean, she can see what we can see, and that's that she's like sproused up.
Yeah, she's fully sproused.
Yeah.
A sprig of sprouse makes your house smell like Christmas. Sorry, I didn't know where to fit that joke in, and I've just been sitting on it.
Do you think they each smell different, and what do they smell like?
One smells like just like the candles I have. One is what is that one?
I don't know what candles you have in your house.
Balsam is one.
Balsam, okay, like balsam and fir, okay.
Uh-huh.
I like balsam and fir. It's one of my favorite Christmas scents.
And one's like winter cabin.
And winter, because they're both spruce based. Got it.
I do think they should sign a deal with Yankee Candle.
I personally would love a deal with Yankee Candle. Anyway, she runs into Parker, 40-year-old Parker, and is like, how are your balls? And he's like, they say I have like a 20% chance at a normal sex life. Do you want to go out to dinner with me? I know this great Italian spot. And she's like, absolutely, yes, please pick me up from my dorm. Cool.
She's also like covered in mud.
Yeah. We cut to her getting ready for her date, and she gets a text from Travis that's sorry about the boner. I'm going to say, Travis, you don't need to apologize. It happens naturally. She should apologize for touching you without your consent. Just saying. And he says, please text me so we can talk. Yeah, you guys should probably talk about it if he feels comfortable doing that. Since he was the one assaulted, I would say.
Yeah.
But she does not answer. She's got her cute dress. They go to the Italian restaurant, and they seem to have a good time.
Oh, you mean her and her best friend's father?
You mean, yeah, her dad stand-in because of the trauma she has incurred in her lifetime?
He does look 40. Like, I assume they expect us to think they're the same age. He looks 40.
He does not look her age. Yeah, no, not by a long shot.
But he is, quote, a college student. So, like...
yes, but he's about to enter med school, which
so
means
he's probably
like
about to
finished
graduate.
grad school.
Yeah.
He's like a senior. Yeah.
So he's, I would say, minimum 3, maximum 7 years older than her, maybe. So, but he looks 10 and some change years older than her.
And she looks 27, so...
Which, okay, spoiler for last episode, I guess. Seth Rogen was 25 when he filmed Knocked Up.
What?
Wow.
I know.
Is that real?
Yes.
You broke my brain.
I know. A bunch of people commented in the Facebook group, and I read it today, and I was like, oh my God.
That's insane.
He looks 38 in that movie. Now, I would say... current Seth Rogen also looks 38, but somehow looks better than he did in Knocked Up. Like, current Seth Rogen can fucking get it. I love his pottery journey, but like, that's wild that he was 25 when they shot that movie. He looks way older. But anyway, just, brief little sidetrack to talk about
wild.
It. So after their weird date, he's like, hey, I just got a text about a show. Do you want to go with me? And she's like, great. So they go to what looks like the local like repertory theater that's doing Titus Andronicus. But after hours, clearly Titus Andronicus is already done. They are hosting like a fighting ring kind of thing with a belt.
It was insane. I did love that she, like, as they're walking up, she's like, oh, I love Titus Andronicus. You know, it's one of Shakespeare's most violent plays. And he's like, he's like, oh, you don't mind violence? She's like, no, I grew up like a tomboy or whatever. And so he's like, okay, cool. And then they walk in and it's just like a fight club. And she goes, oh, I love this like modern version of...
Yeah, I love this modern interpretation.
Like, no, this is just... how have you missed what's happening this badly? It's like walking into Blue Man Group and being like, who were the like Smurfs?
Yeah, why'd they color themselves?
I love this avant-garde take on the Smurfs.
Exactly.
Boom, 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 boom. Anyway... Travis is pacing around. He's like, Abby hasn't texted me back. And he gets in a slap fight with Shep.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, she finds out Travis is fighting and she like walks into him because she's like, I'm going to go find a bathroom because she's fully going to ditch because she doesn't want to see Travis, but she walks into him and he's like, you're here dressed like that with your titties hanging out. You don't get to police how women dress.
Wild.
No.
Wild.
They barely have spoken. It's insane to me. Like, he's only displaying red flags, really.
I love boobies.
Who doesn't? Who does it?
Same.
That's -1 Sprouse point.
Yeah.
Is Cole now your favorite?
That's why Cole's in the lead. No, Cole's my favorite because he's I would say, crazy Sprouse, where he's a little unhinged and
crazier than this.
No, this is not like within this movie, like in life, where he does like weird movies and picks weirder roles and shit. And that is a little more fun for me, I guess.
Sure.
Anyway, he's like, your titty's out, and tries to like pull her dress up. I would have slapped somebody. Anyway, as they're talking, and Ivan Drago wannabe walks by and is like, I must break you. And he's like, okay, do it. And I was like, no, we're not channeling Rocky in this movie.
We're not at all channeling Rocky in this movie, because when we see that Russian Russian guy,
yeah,
like he's like throwing haymakers.
Yeah.
He's like leading with his shoulders, like in a wave motion. It's like the worst. Like I've never boxed in my life. And I was like, I bet Mikey hates the way this guy's throwing punches right now.
UFC's a bit different, but yeah.
This isn't UFC. This is underground street fighting.
If you telegraph, you can dodge them and get in. The whole thing was wild.
It just seemed like it was obvious he was punching.
The bet is wild. The whole thing is wild.
I think it's because of the bet. I think because the movie is like, well, you can't have him.
Yeah.
Because they make the bet where it's like, if he gets hit even once in this fight, no sex for 3 months. But if he wins the fight, then she has to stay with him for a month. And this is a bet. She doesn't have to make this bet. She could just walk away.
Because if she wins, he doesn't have sex for 3 months. It's like a wild...
Yeah, why do you care? Like,
I'd be like, or I pay your tuition for a year. She has nothing to gain from this at all, ever.
Not only does she have nothing to gain, she doesn't have to make... No one has to make this bet. This bet doesn't have to happen at all. But they agree to it. And so he goes into the fight, and he's just like jumping around the cage. He does avoid getting hit. He doesn't kill him. He beats that guy. He knocks him out. He does slap his ass at one point. But as he basically avoids being hit, he like climbs up on the cage and he's like, pack your bags, you're coming home with me, and like goes nuts in the ring. Nuts.
She came there with Parker.
Yes.
She is still on a date.
Still.
Like, I got why Parker, even though he should not be dating someone his daughter's age, I got why he was upset with her. You know what I'm saying? Parker's supposed to be in college. I'm making a joke, but he looks old.
But can I just say, the scene with her and Parker in the car and him outside of the car, crazy, terrifying though it is, made me laugh so hard because it's so crazy. Because she's basically trying to explain to Parker and she's like, I get it. I walked away for 5 minutes and now I have to go live with Travis. But I had a really nice time and I would love to do it again. And they're about to kiss goodnight. And Travis like plasters himself on the window and is just screaming. And I'm like, oh, he's terrifying. And then Parker is like, get out of the car. He's going to hurt me. Get out of the car.
It's insane to me that Parker was at all afraid of him, though, because, like, Parker looks like a 40-year-old man with 40-year-old man strength, and he would be, like, throwing around this child who was a college freshman, I guess?
Yeah.
Parker's way bigger than Sprice.
I still don't, you don't want to fight a guy, but I wouldn't turn to the girl and be like, get the fuck out of my car.
Yeah.
I'm scared of that man.
I'd be like, we're going to drive away because I don't feel safe leaving you with him. Yeah. Anyway, she gets out of the car and he's like, I didn't think you would actually make good on the bet. This is great. Which I was like, then why were you on the anyway? But she's like, I have no intention of touching your dick or anything. And he's like, well, you did give me a handy. And it's like, no. Hey, do you need to talk about what happened? Because that was technically assault and we can talk about it and boundaries and how it made you feel. And I think it's really important to explore what happened.
Kids don't talk like that. I never talk. I still don't talk like that. I'm a therapist.
Well, and she does say, wait till I'm on my period. I might stab you. And I was like,
way to set back women's rights.
Not only that, is she a murderer? That'd be an extra fun plot to add to this movie, is if she was a murderer.
If she was actually on the run from San Francisco because she killed Dirty Sal in a back alley boxing match.
Poker
I don't
game?
know. Yeah.
Yeah, just to watch him die. Yeah. Anyway, they get into bed together. They do the like pillows down the center. Don't cross the center line of the bed. And then we get a day counter and we get a montage of them like living together like roommates where he's like slapping at her where she's trying to clean things. They're doing like the hair swoop yoga, and then like Shep is doing the hair swoop yoga, and they're like trying to work out together. And effectively, it's almost like they're dating, but not. And then he takes her to meet his family, which, like, why would he do if they weren't dating? Like, it's just weird.
I mean, nothing in this movie makes sense. Like, if you're looking for like causality, what are you doing?
I was like, this is gonna be a short episode because I don't even know. Like, this is like a fake movie.
Yeah, it almost doesn't seem like a real movie. It's like if somebody put a bunch of movie plots in a hat and they picked 3 and were like, all right, let's put some sex in it now. Like, that's what this movie is.
Yeah.
And I love it. But so she meets all of his brothers who, like, their only character traits are, I am brother, I work on motorcycles, I play poker. And they all end up playing a family game of poker. She doesn't join in, and then she does and takes everybody's money. And they're like, wait a second. I heard tell in old Vegas of a man who had a daughter who used to hustle people, and they're like, you're lucky 13, and they like lose their mind as if she was famous.
They also didn't know that story. It was their dad telling it. So it's like your dad's telling you this thing he knows about.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, cool. I guess you're that person who's not at all really that famous. Like,
yeah.
They react like they seem stupid for not recognizing her.
Yes.
But she's not that famous at any other point in this movie.
No, and they're like, Lucky 13's in our house, and they're like taking pictures with her. It's a real weird scene.
It's like they just realized she was a Jonas brother or some shit like that. And like, she ain't got it like that.
She ain't got it like that.
She's not a Sprouse.
She's not a Sprouse. We cut to day 25. Day 26, she's like drawing on his face. Now, also on day 26, Shep is on the couch in the living room crying while he watches After We Collided, which is the one that Dylan Sprouse is in as Trevor. And he's just like, how could he do that to Tessa? And then we cut to them like fighting in the park or whatever. And we then cut to, and I have a weird cinematography beef here. Back me up on this, Todd.
Strange with this film. Again, not a film.
We have a scene with her and Mare walking along a bridge, talking and having a conversation, but they're so far away from the camera and their voices are not distinct enough that it's unclear who is talking until they get up close, and the camera doesn't follow them. It just sits stationary at one point on the bridge. So like, it starts with her being like, I feel like he could be my forever person. I was like, fucking Travis? What? And then she's like, I mean, Travis makes me laugh. And she's like, yeah, like, and you realize that it's Mare talking about Shep. Great.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I mean, I guess Travis's physique is appealing, but he seems a little crazy. And I'm like, a little. Like,
he is
girl,
crazy.
He is crazy. It's a lot of crazy.
Yeah.
That I love.
Regardless, she gets back to the house because she's got like 2 more days left. And Mick is messaging her and it just says, just tell me you're alive and I won't bother you. I'll leave you alone. And she texts back, mistake, I miss you too. She sets her computer down where she was doing the texting on his side of the bed and she ends up on her side. And at that point I was like, he's going to see the text message.
Of course.
She left the computer. I wrote this movie.
She actually accuses him of snooping, which I don't really think it is. Like, her screen was up. Like, he just looked over at it. Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah, he didn't like dig through all her messages.
yeah, exactly. He didn't even touch it. He just saw it on the screen.
Right. She left it open.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's like, you're going to miss me. And also, isn't your birthday in 2 days? Okay. And so they're like, this kind of like flirty pillow talk, and he kind of tickles her and she snorts, which like, hey, for those of us that have the snorting disease.
Can we talk about how much, because I'm skipping ahead a minute, but I need to talk about the montages of them in bed or waking up.
Yes.
And like,
sure,
they're supposed to be like not liking each other and barely friendly, but
that's
like
already, you're skipping behind, not ahead. So yeah, go for it.
But like during all this, it's like, they spoon so hard.
Yeah.
In this montage. Or like do weird sexual poses.
They fork eventually.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm going to be real with you.
Be real, baby.
Outside of maybe the few times I have had to share beds with my sibling or my parents, I ain't sleeping in the same bed with somebody for a whole ass month unless we fucking. So like, what are we doing here?
If you sleep in the same, like proximity is like a factor here. And like,
yes,
night 3, y'all would fool around with somebody. Maybe before, you know, like you're just like, hey, we're in bed.
You'd be doing something. I'd give you like a week. Maybe you're on a weird vacation or something like, but like,
Paige, may I remind you, he's everyone's type.
He is everyone's type. I feel like anything past a week, like now, again, am I saying that like people can't ever sleep together? But like in this situation where there's clear attraction already and like, yeah, it's bonkers.
Yeah.
But it's like the most extreme version of the one bed trope.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Which I do love, but most of the time one bed trope is like a week max.
She seems like the type that would put a wall of pillows down the middle.
Yeah. I was surprised they didn't do that, honestly. Maybe he didn't have enough pillows.
I was surprised. And they both had very skimpy pajamas.
Very they could have put pillows. They could have used his thick old cakes and put those as extra pillows.
I've slept in the same bed with a girl who didn't like me. She wore lots of clothes.
Yes, right. Like,
And we were dating.
if there had been a mix-up at the Airbnb and I had to share a bed with you or Mondo, I would probably be fully sweated up and be like, I'll take the couch because I'm small. Like, it's, it's weird. This is weird.
It's weird, yes.
It's crazy. Anyway, so he's kind of like tickling her and it's breaking the touch barrier. And he's like, you actually like me. I know you do.
Yeah.
And if you say that you don't, you're lying, which is fucked up.
I think he's calling on her bullshit a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit,
I don't
yeah.
really like you at all. Because he's like, I didn't kidnap you. You're living here for a, quote, stupid bet we made. Like, you're into this.
Right.
Just admit it. Like, what are we doing?
Well, and if you left, I wouldn't drag you back here for the bet. I'd be like, yeah, that sounds about right. They're also not just they're spending like every day together.
They're dating fully.
They're dating.
Yes.
Anyway, he kisses her and it is on. But what's wild is the door to their room is open and they don't close it. And they end up kissing up against the door frame and don't close the door. And I was like, guys, what are you doing? You have roommates. Close the door.
I mean, the roommates we find out here in a second are also busy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But as they're kissing, she says, touch me. Like she asks for what she wants,
Yes.
which I appreciate. Do that more in sex scenes, please.
Yeah.
Verbalize things people want. He starts to, and she kind of freaks out a little bit. She goes to the bathroom and drags her other roommate in.
Here's what I think happened there, because I got shown a thing today called a ring watch.
A ring watch?
Yeah.
Like the old ones?
Someone was like, "What do you think you'd like a ring watch?" And I was like, "No. Like, what if I fingered someone and lost my watch?"
Yeah, exactly. And also, I think that'd be really uncomfortable.
Wait, it's a ring that tells the time?
Google it.
Yeah, it's a ring watch.
Yeah.
It's like a little, like a wristwatch, but for your finger. They were very popular in the 80s.
Wow, I hate these.
Yeah.
This is terrifying.
I'm not a fan. That's not something, I'm not featuring it. No. Ooh, that's maybe. Hold on.
What you just heard was Paige changing her mind on finger rings, baby.
They got, because I was picturing the old ones, but some of these new ones are cool as shit.
I think it's coming back. It's coming back.
I have to think about this more, I think. I feel like I could rock this Sammy Jeffcoat style with just like stacks of rings.
If I had them, I wouldn't be able to not say, I'm going to finger bang you back in time.
Back in time. Anyway, she drags the other roommate into the bathroom. And that roommate, from what we hear from her room, was in the midst of something, but is also fully clothed, which I thought was kind of funny.
I would say sex can happen in any layer of clothing for various reasons. And I do think
you would say
her
that.
and her boyfriend, they're experimenting with like role play quite heavily. And I think that they are specifically doing the taking home the college librarian like trope, because that is the way she is dressed.
You don't think it's the role playing as a couple that's been married for like 6.5 years and doesn't have the energy to fully take off their clothes anymore?
No, but still would though. Like sex is sex. Y'all crazy.
Oh yeah, of course. Sex is sex.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I wouldn't. Sweatpants look cute on a lot of people.
Yeah, I only keep clothes on if it's like a dress-up event or like we're in an outdoorsy type get caught type situation.
Oh, where you might have to like, peek out from outside the small fort that was built way before the Revolutionary War to see if like there's an exit plan between tourists walking by.
That's where I helped talk that jumper down on Monday.
Are you serious?
The whole time I looked to the right and I was like, fucking Todd has had sex in that thing.
You weren't like, hey man, come down here. I got to tell you about the time my friend had sex in that shack. Don't you want to live for that?
They have that place like boarded up so tight and sealed off because of people like him that ruined it for everyone else.
You mean people like Todd that ruined it for everyone else?
That's what he means. Yeah, he means me. So did you third eye blind the guy, or did he?
Did you lethal weapon him?
He was okay.
Okay, good.
He was okay. Don't do meth. Meth is bad.
Meth is bad.
Yeah.
You can't focus even on people talk. It's like hard. It was a hard, it's a difficulty factor.
Anyway, in the bathroom, she's like, I need to like sneak out of the house because if I let this continue, I ain't gonna stop it. I'm having too much fun. And her roommate is just like, why stop it then? And I was like, counterpoint. Good counterpoint, roommate.
Yeah, the roommate's like, you're 18, 19 in college. You should just do it.
Like, he has a drawer full of condoms. Like,
so do I, Paige. It doesn't mean shit.
Why even have them?
Just in case, Paige. Just in case. Just so her friend will be like, he's got a drawer full of condoms.
Slowly expiring.
Yeah. I went to Costco.
Yeah, that's where everyone gets. Anyway, meanwhile, he's in the bedroom and he's like practicing things he's going to say to her, which they also did with Trevor. Is this a theme? I don't know why they do this.
I think it's funny, though. I do think he's like funny in the movie.
It's funny both times. Yeah. But he sees the message pop up from Mick, who is clearly from those messages her dad. And instead of being like, hey, maybe I should ask about this, he just leaves. She chases him, but he just is gone. He comes home the next day with a cat. And I was like, my type of guy.
I know. I was like, I do sort of like that drunk Travis also loves cats.
Yeah. Clearly he likes pussy in all its forms.
Exactly. He runs out on her to get pussy.
Yeah. And he comes back with Rumpelteazer, which is the name of a cat from the musical Cats, but also the poem that Cats is based on.
Don't care for cats.
You know what? I'm going to make you watch it someday.
Oh, I would watch the movie with like Taylor Swift and Judi Dench. Hell yeah.
Judi Dench with her strangely human hands.
Man.
It's all crazy. It's all nuts.
We're living in a golden age of big budget bonkers films.
Oh, boy.
So much. It's so bad. That is maybe one of the few movies I've seen that is crazier than this and 365, but it doesn't have any sex in it. It's just, you're watching it and you're like, whose fucking fever dream cost millions of dollars? Like,
oh, you mean so it's just like watching the musical? Like, I don't know. We can't talk about Cats.
I would say it's worse.
I find that hard to believe.
Anyway, so she's like, yeah, Mick is my dad. And he's like, oh, that makes sense. I'm so sorry. My bad.
Yeah, he takes this great.
Yeah.
I thought that was really funny. He was like, oh, well, fuck, great. I guess we're forgiving each other immediately, right? Because I'm definitely not on coke.
And she's like, no, we're not. But we cut to her asleep in the library because we implied that she was out looking for him all night.
Yeah.
And who should come upon her in the library but Parker? And he's like, let's order some Postmates and talk some shit out.
Yeah, he's like, hello, fellow kids.
Hello, fellow kids. It's me, Steve Buscemi, with a skateboard. Let's order some Postmates. So they have a fun, cute little library date that I actually think is fun. And then he gets a text that they're throwing the party. And I don't know why he goes along with this. This is a real roundabout way for a plot thing.
Because he's terrified of a child half his age and size. They've got blackmail on him or something.
I think he just understands the full power of the Sprouse.
He's like, he's 5'10", $150, and there's two of them.
It's just the confidence. He's just the confidence. But they switch out. They only act 15 minutes at a time.
Because child labor laws.
Child labor laws. Well, yeah, back in the day when they were on like Friends and stuff, like that's what was happening, I assume.
Well, yeah, in the movie Big Daddy, and they've been acting forever.
Yeah. Anyway, he takes her to a frat house where Travis has somehow in the past few hours thrown her a huge surprise birthday party.
Yeah.
Then he's like kind of ignoring her. She gets super drunk. It's bad all around. This is the like peak of young college self-sabotage of like, I don't know what I'm going to do because I've got difficult conversations to have, so I'm just going to get drunk instead.
Yeah.
Bad plan every time, by the way.
It's the Harden special, though. Like, that is like this type of movie's lane.
It is the Harden special.
It's a college guy type deal, you know?
Yeah, it's avoidant and dismissive. Like, we all run away sometimes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we just don't have a voice that's like, I didn't know what to say to you. like Harden does. He's just like, you make me better. I'm a 4.0 now.
I'm a 4.0 now.
So she gets super drunk.
Yeah.
They play some games, and one that I had never seen was like a pint glass on a piece of toilet paper, and then you're trying to roll it up without tearing the roll. And I was like,
yeah,
I have never done that, but that would be so hard. I want to try this now. Like, I know that sounds stupid, but I'm like, I'm fascinated.
I haven't played that either, but I've never seen it done either. So, Mikey, did you ever play that game?
Which one?
Where they've got the pint glass on the toilet paper and they're rolling it. You're trying to roll it all the way to the roll without breaking the toilet paper?
No. That's why I'm so confused because I'm like, what? Circle of Death was my big one. Ride the Bus. We played a lot of card games.
What?
I am unfamiliar with both of what you have just described, unless they are maybe things that I know of, but we call them by different names. Anyway. So Parker is like bringing her glasses of Merlot and it's like, get out of here, middle-aged man.
I was like, this is a 40-year-old man serving drinks to a like underage girl. Like I'm uncomfortable.
Yes.
Although he's supposed to be maybe 3 years older than she is, I guess.
3 to 7. But this is also where we get Mare and Shep's argument about kids. It's just the drunk argument that spirals out of control and then eventually ends up with them having makeup sex. Just like, it's histrionics.
It happens over the course of literally 7 minutes.
Yeah,
And it's the worst fight either of them have ever had.
They break up over it.
Yeah. And then she pulls her back inside and they start dancing and then they like right away get back together. And then they leave to go have sex in a closet or whatever.
And then Parker is like, I'm a go. I have read The Room and I am going to leave.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, twerking, you're not fun. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to go. And he like leans in to kiss her and she like recoils. And he's like, see, exactly. I'm going to leave.
He's like, I have to go because Tyler's brothers have my daughter hostage and I am being forced to do what they ask me. I have to go save my daughter.
I think that is so funny.
But he's like, you got to see this thing through with Travis. Shut the fuck up, Parker. You don't know shit.
I think, honestly, this is the smartest thing Parker does is like show her that you're not into me. Stop using me this way to like be that diversion or whatever and go sort out your shit with Parker. There's clearly something there. You're just denying it. Like, I actually think that, man, Parker has the wisdom of his actual years here.
Anyway, Travis is like, hey, you're way too drunk.
Yeah. And she reacts like some of my exes have. And they were like, oh, let's drink more.
Yeah, it's not good.
You're like, I mean, you're really just punishing both of us. But yeah, you're going to feel like shit tomorrow.
She also does the drunk girl runaway, which is so rough.
I have a friend like that, or used to.
We had a sorority sister that not only was a runner, but she would kick people. Whenever she would drink, we would just like own, like she punched somebody one time because she would just run away to like wherever. Like one time she ran away and accidentally just walked into a stranger's apartment and refused to leave and then just sat on their couch texting. And then when we took her phone and eventually manhandled her out of that apartment, she had just texted the letter B to like a TA that we barely knew. It was bad.
That would be the last time I ever took that person back to their safe place, like their house or apartment or whatever.
Yeah.
I would never go out with them again.
They stopped drinking after that night.
Yeah.
Anyway, he does take her home. And thankfully, unlike in After, he does not try to have any sort of romantic connection with her that night, really. He just helps her barf a lot.
Yeah. She throws up in his face. And I was, because we are recording this on a night, I was like eating while watching this movie. And I like was fork food up to mouth when that happened. And I was like, oh God, it grossed me out. Like so gross.
Well, and then when did I have noodles? And I was like, no, that is what a drunk girl would say.
Yeah.
Anyway, he takes her home, cleans them both up. And she clearly, under the influence, is like, no, I do like you. I like this a lot. And so he's like trying to get her a clean shirt. And she's like, okay, just kidding. I'm not. Like, she's just constantly
She's the worst.
Naked.
Yeah.
But he's also like trying not to look at, he is trying to be the good dude.
I would say he's being respectful. He even says like, I would love to see this under other circumstances, but
yes,
like,
yes. He also says, he's like, you won't remember of any of this, but I'm madly in love with you, but we're going to do this another time. But this is also when I realized that in his bathroom, he has a neon sign that says breakfast all day. I don't know why. We see it a ton of times after this. I don't know why it's there, but she wants to go to IHOP and he won't take her. He's like, no. I'm pumping you full of water. You're going to bed.
Well, IHOP killed his mother.
By hopping directly into her skull?
That happy face pancake just fucked with her and is now a frowny face pancake.
Anyway, she gets up the next day, and because he made her drink enough water, she's not hungover. But he's still getting her water and ibuprofen and coffee and breakfast and whatever.
Yeah, he's just like trying to take care of her. He like makes her coffee and is like, it's your actual birthday, I think. So like, let's do breakfast in bed. And she was like, I'll just take a coffee. And she goes to shower and he does all that.
She does, before she goes to bed, call her dad, and she says, I'm at college in Sacramento.
Yeah.
But anyway, the next morning, she gets up, she showers, and they have this like talk about like, you know, we're kind of not in sync. We're, you know, a disaster, a beautiful disaster, hate it. And they're like, this is our last night as roommates. She's like, let's do something special, and talks him into giving her a foot massage that turns into a leg massage, that turns into a thigh massage, that turns into an everything else massage. And I'm just here to tell you right now, this is me, Paige, so you learn something. Do not use regular baby oil or regular massage oil on your genitals. Please use massage oil with lube in it that's specifically made so that it won't give you infections. You're welcome. You can buy it at your local sex shop or on Amazon.
He realized his mistake, and that's why he had to take her, you know, her panties off and clean it.
Yeah, of course.
He had to get it out of it.
I just spit loogies right all over that for massages.
Oh, God. But he goes downtown.
Natural.
We do get a shot of that. We got a condom shot just like after. And then we see his butt like a lot.
We do see his cakes a lot in this movie. Yeah.
Lots of cakes. And then it is implied that full penetration has happened. And she says, is it in? And he's like, and she's like, I'm kidding. Like, but hilarious, right? And
I'm
like,
kidding. We saw that prosthetic. I'm literally screaming in pain.
Yeah, I won't be able to walk later. You have punctured my lung. But it was at this point, I looked at the time and I was like, how is there a half hour of movie left? What is even going to happen?
Oh, well, the rest of this sex scene's not going to take very long, Paige. He's already inside.
He's already inside, and then they cut away. They don't get
Yeah, it's over. Boo. It's over at that point.
Boo. There are boobs in this movie, though.
Are there?
I do not think so.
A very quick shot of boob. I documented it so I can let you know.
I mean, I missed it, but like, I boob leave you.
Yeah. The next morning, she gets up, goes to class. A dude in a black SUV pulls up behind her and is like, you're coming with me to Vegas. What?
And now it becomes a whole fucking different movie.
A completely different movie.
Yes.
It becomes Ocean 69. And you know what? I don't hate it. They show up at the Landing Strip, which is a great name for a strip club by the airport.
Absolutely.
Where a casino owner that she, I would assume, knows, tells her that her dad owes him $100K and his dad can't get the money. And if he doesn't, they're going to break his legs. So she needs to go play poker to get this money. And she's like, okay, fine. So they get her a room. She gets like a dress and a taser. And she's like, all right, I'm going to go play at somewhere. We don't know what casino, but we know that it's not the Bellagio because she says that she doesn't want to get caught and they will most likely catch her at a nicer place. But she has like her side guy and she's like, pay the waitress $200 to water down my drinks and wait outside and I will meet you in wherever. So she sits down at a table with a buy-in of $5,000 and she just runs the table until she gets to $100,000, which like they would have stopped her way before she got to $100,000. It would have only taken a few hands of her insane luck for them to have like stepped in, I would assume.
I mean, she's just like a good play. I don't know. I have no idea. It was a high stakes table, so it was $5,000 buy-in. There's like 4 people or 5 people at the table, so that's like 20, 25K per shot.
Yeah.
You could probably get there pretty quick. I mean, it probably would take.
That's fair.
You'd have to play like, you don't get the best cards every round, right? You got to play the table
right.
and like save your money when you need to and spend it when you can. But like, you could get there pretty quick with a 5K ante.
Yeah, that's fair. Because she almost immediately has $100,000 and is like, great. So she goes to walk out with the chips, which I assume she's going to hand to somebody else for them to cash the chips in. But that's such a huge amount of chips. They would take you and directly cash them. Like,
they would walk you there. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Who stops her but security? A guy named Jesse that apparently she know from high school. And he's like, oh, I should have asked you to prom. But he takes the chips from her because he knows she's underage.
Yeah.
She goes outside and she's like, they caught me. So she calls her dad and is like, get out of town, get a burner phone. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Are the mobsters not keeping him hostage?
That should have been her first clue that maybe he's involved.
Yeah, because I was like, I would assume that he is there and they're ready to break his legs until she comes back with that money. And instead he's like, okay, I'll see you later. Like, I'll leave right now.
If I was at the casino that like my dad's being held at and one of their like security guards took the chips, I'd be like, yes, Stefan has it or whatever the fuck.
I don't think she's at the same casino.
They don't set that up. I mean, unless I missed it. Like,
they don't.
It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, all the Vegas stuff feels so like, I'm going to say good-naturedly half-assed.
Sure.
That like, you sort of have no idea what's going on, but like, you're sort of on board.
Because she does go to them in the next scene and she's like, Jesse took them. It's this person. He works here. Which to me suggests that it's not the same casino.
Yeah, maybe.
Because also, if she won it from his own casino, then...
Well, you would be winning it from the people at the table who, like, just come to the casino to gamble. If it was, like, 21, like blackjack, like in the movie 21, you'd be winning the casino's money, but it's different with Texas Hold'em, I believe. Yeah. Mikey's more the gambler. Like,
There's got to be some table, like, you got to be sending some to the table.
In poker, the rake goes. So, like, every time they go through a betting cycle, if you're playing poker at a casino, there's a rake, which is like a 10% of the pot goes to the house.
Okay.
Or 3%. Okay. There's a percentage of it.
All right, that makes sense. Anyway, he's like, no, you don't got my money. I don't care who Jesse is. This doesn't matter. We're going to break your dad's legs unless you let me sponsor all your entrance fees and you go gamble in California. And who should burst in but Travis? Because Travis has like gone to her dorm, found all the money in the mattress in a matter of like 20 seconds and like reverse figured out where she is.
Well, her roommate has her on Find My Friends. So that's how he knows.
That's right.
And so he takes her phone. So he like can track her. Like that actually sort of made sense.
Yeah.
Although where she would be in the building would be very hard to find out. But like the building you'd be able to find pretty easily, I think. But he does straight up like Jean-Claude Van Damme kick the door in.
Love it.
And like, get your damn hands off her.
Yeah, and then my favorite is because he dispatches of the first two cronies immediately. But then another guy comes out and subtitled, it just says, I'm Dane and I'm going to crush you. And he just immediately dispatches that guy. So fucking funny.
Well, and then Tessa, or whatever her name is in this series, runs out of the room, and then it cuts to like the bad guy, and he's like, oh, he's a good fighter. And like, that's it. That's the end of the scene.
That's it. He chases Abby into a taxi, so they both end up at the hotel. And they end up arguing in the hallway, and he's like, you need to tell me what's going on so I can help. Which, oddly enough, this is the most mature conversation they have where he's like, I am here for you. I want to help you, but I need to know things. You need to communicate. I will tell you things, like whatever. And instead of actually resolving anything, they just start making out. They get into the hotel room, and thus begins one of the craziest 5 minutes on film I've ever seen, where they proceed to have a sex scene where they ruin the entire room. The only sex scene funnier than this, the only two sex scenes funnier than this is one, what's that movie with Clive Owen, where he's like a homeless guy that turns out to be an assassin and kills people with carrots?
Oh, Shoot 'em Up.
Shoot 'em Up. The one in Shoot 'em Up with Monica Bellucci, where they're having sex while he's shooting in a circle with an AK. Love that. Or there's a movie called The Bronze.
Is this the ice skaters?
No, they're gymnasts.
Okay, you sent us this.
Oh my God, it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
It's insane, because they're like just doing the most acrobatic fucking you've ever seen.
But the thing that kills me about The Bronze is when she does the walk, like little gymnast floor show. I was losing my mind. Anyway, so they break the sink, they're everything, and then we hear the people in the other rooms like yelling for them to quiet down. We hear the phone, we hear sirens. The implication being they destroy this entire fucking room.
Yeah, their hotel room neighbors are like, what are you, recording the Little Italy episode?
Trump says quiet down. Anyway, Benny, the casino owner, texts her and is like, he still owes me the $100K and it's on you. And she is asleep. She doesn't see it. He sees it. He, being Maddox, Travis, sees it. And he sees a flyer about a cash prize to fight Chernobyl. So he calls and he's like, I got a way to get you this money.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay. She wakes up and Travis has texted her. Shep has a post that he's like, I'm going to Vegas to see my boy fight. And she's like, oh no, he has no idea what he's gotten into. She goes to find him fighting, and in the like garage of this same casino, she finds her dad and Jesse loading up the money because it turns the fuck out they were in league with the casino guy. No one owes anybody any money. They were just trying to trick her back into the poker scene.
Oh, it's
so
awful.
she tases both of them in the throat.
Yeah.
It's so wild.
So good. It's crazy. I love it so much. She's just like, you're not in Denver. Just like, like,
I mean, it's wild that she thought he would be in Denver because he says, I'll hike to Denver. And like,
he says, I'll meet you in Denver.
No, he says, I'll hike to Denver.
No,
it's
he
in
says
the
hike.
subtitle.
He says hike.
Yeah, I'll just hike to Denver. And I was like, who are you, Zac Efron? You ain't hiking anywhere, Brian Austin Green.
I was like, is it a reference? I was like, what?
I don't know. Anyway, she tasers them both out of the car and steals the car and the money.
She doesn't realize it's the money, though. She just thinks it's his suitcase.
She just thinks it's a suitcase.
When they find it, they're like, oh my God, here's the money.
Yeah. Anyway, she's trying to get a hold of Travis. She can't. The fight is starting. He's still fighting in jeans. Unhinged that he's fighting in jeans.
It's because they want it to feel like Fight Club. Like that is like, they're trying to do like a middle schooler impression of Brad Pitt in Fight Club.
Jean-Claude Van Damme notoriously often fights in jeans as well.
Jeans have a little stretch to them now. I think you can fight in jeans. I can fight in my jeans that I wore today, but I'm not a big kicker.
I would definitely prefer athletic wear. I think if you're going to kick, you got to wear something that's not jeans. Like, is it weird that I feel like you could box in jeans, but if you're going to kickbox, jeans are a no-go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could traditionally box. I don't want to kickbox. I don't like kicking.
I'm a kicker.
But I mean, this is also why JCVD's jeans are kind of baggy, so he can get that like full leg extension up there.
What about jeggings?
All right. Anyway, so she gets stuck trying to get in line, trying to get inside. While she's trying to get inside, we meet Chernobyl with a fucking insane theme song and like a gas mask, and I lost my mind.
He comes in like he is Mike Myers of this universe, and his name is just Chernobyl. He's got a mask on. He's got what looks like a poncho on some level. Like it's like a
shroud.
He's from Mad Max. He's like, give us the gasoline.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Witness me in Valhalla. Yeah, like all chrome. Yeah. And whoever dies loses.
Those are the stakes at the end of this movie.
Those are the stakes. So they fight, and he's like literally knocking him down with, there's no rounds, there's no rules, nothing. And I just have in my notes, oh no, is Sweet Life gonna get $1 Million babied? But no, his friend almost gets $1 Million babied. But as they're fighting, all of a sudden he's got a chain. Chernobyl has a chain, and he's like whipping him with it. And Shep is like, that's not fair. So he climbs in, and it's like 2-on-1. Somebody throws a bottle. The place catches on fire because there was like a bottle on flames on whatever.
It was like an electrical fire. Someone threw a beer because they were upset because someone hadn't died yet, I guess. And that sparked the electrical outlet, and it caught on fire. It's not that important.
Yeah. But meanwhile, in the melee of the fire, she runs up with a stool and gets Chernobyl across the back of the head with a stool, and they all escape.
Yeah. By the way, that whole thing scored to yakety sax.
Yeah.
It's not really, but like it might as well be based on what Paige just said.
Yeah. They go back to the same hotel room from the people who swindled them and whose car they stole.
Yeah.
And they're like, should we check in somewhere else? And he's like, no, I never want to leave this bed. And they won't do anything because they know that, like, we know that they know that we know that we know, I guess.
Yeah. But also, like, that guy should call and be like, I don't need $100,000 for your dad's debt. That was made up. The room damage accumulates to $100,000. And you owe that money.
Yeah, legitimately.
Yeah.
This is where he kind of explains why he calls her Pigeon. It makes no more sense than it did before. It's a bad nickname.
You know, like Pigeon, like every government drone out there.
Yeah, they're watching us.
That it makes as much sense as that.
Hello, Pigeon.
We cut to him and Shep and Abby, and Shep is going to drive the motorcycle back to Sacramento. He seems to have never ridden a motorcycle before. This is a bad plan.
He also clearly has like a head injury because he's talking in gibberish.
Oh yeah, he has a completely different personality, and they reference it in the scene. They're like, is he going to be okay? And they're like, no, I don't think so. Like,
no, he's not going to make it to Sacramento.
He's the new Chernobyl. It's not good.
That's how you make a Chernobyl.
That's how you make one. But He wants to change his shirt. So they go through Jesse's bag to get a new shirt. That's where they find the money.
Yeah.
And so they're like, let's stay in Vegas for another night. Great. Then we get the end, or is it? And we get a series of shots that imply that they got married in Vegas.
I was like, this is awful.
And she got a tattoo that says Mrs. Maddox. And
that's the
movie.
So having seen the movie and we talked about the movie, what did you guys think about 311's Beautiful Disaster?
I hated this way more than after, like so much more.
I hope the sequel is even more crazy. And I'm fully here for it. I'm in.
These are
I
crazy
prefer this
movies.
to After. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely watch the other one, I'll definitely check it out for sure, because you'll make me.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I do think this one is definitely more ick, whereas After is more cringe. And I think I can handle the cringe of After more than I like the ick of this.
I think I prefer the ick because at least there's action. I think the next one might have explosions. I'm excited.
This one is sexier than After ever has been.
For sure.
Already. Yeah. Like, this one deserved an R rating. I don't feel like any After movie has deserved an R rating. They're practically Hallmark movies.
They cussed a lot more in this film.
I feel like all Afters could be PG, and I would put this at PG-13 max.
Yes, that's how I feel.
But you said you saw titties.
Okay, so here's where it's
I still don't believe you. I looked really hard.
It's in the room when they're destroying the room, and she takes the top of her dress off, and she does not have a bra underneath, and they're clearly trying to hide the titties because he kind of turns her, and they're trying to get her arm so that she's like hiding it against him.
Yeah.
And she slips and misses. And so you can kind of see titties, but it's mostly side titty in that scene.
Yeah, there you go.
But they were out, is all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I mean, it is way sexier. I actually do think they have chemistry, whereas Hardin and Tessa don't really. But I don't know. The movie's insane. It was less fun than Hardin's bullshit. I don't know why I can do that better than this, but
this is wild to me because this is way more fun for me than After. I get so frustrated with Hardin.
This, no joke, feels like, I don't know, like a senior project in a high school drama class. Like, it feels that level of production and acting and writing.
There's no dialogue that's Hardin and Tessa have like a believably toxic relationship. I know these people.
Yes, but I also hate watching it. Like,
That's
it makes
true.
It's not fun to watch. This is insane, but this is like night and day to me, where it's like so crazy. It doesn't make sense. It would never happen. These people are nuts. They probably shouldn't be together. But hell, if there isn't crazy things happening around them, and I can tolerate that a lot more.
I mean, if you throw in explosions, I'll be on board for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Imagine if there was an explosion, or if they had to break into a vault.
Sure.
This is going to be the new Fast and Furious. I know it.
No, this movie was like made for $100,000. It probably made $100,000.
Mikey, you're going to be so mad when I do box office.
I know it's going to be expensive. But what if they introduced a Fast and Furious element where this truly becomes truly like a Fight Club movie kind of thing that has a lot more sex in it, and they start heisting stuff all the time? You're not going to be in?
I just can't wait until one of them becomes Robert Paulson.
Ooh.
But Paige, do you have any fun facts for us?
I have some.
Well, hit us with your fun facts. The Sprouse fun facts.
During Abby's birthday party, Travis stands next to a guy wearing a fucking Trevor shirt as Hardin screams in After, the fucking Trevor.
Hell
And when he
yes.
notices the shirt, he pours a drink in that guy's face.
I love
which
it.
I think is very funny. Revenge for Trevor. From the window of their Vegas suite, you can actually also see a billboard advertising After Our Dawn, which is not one of the After movies, but After the logo is the same font. So it looks like it's a fake After movie.
Oh, I honestly thought it was going to be like once Hardin reveals he's a vampire and bites Tessa, that's going to be that series, After Our Dawn.
That's so stupid, but I love it.
Very few other fun facts other than this was based on a series of books. It was also on How Did This Get Made? Highly recommend that episode. And apparently the girl who played Abby, Virginia Gardner, and Dylan Sprouse both got married to their respective partners within 3 months of each other, right after they finished making this movie. And those are your fun facts.
Awesome. I have a little fun fact. Tyler's brother, the quote best looking brother in the movie, is wearing the Struts t-shirt, and I love that band.
Cool.
But Paige, thank you for the actual useful fun facts. Let's talk about some box office. So what do you think the production budget was for Beautiful Disaster in 2023?
10 million.
Okay.
I'm going to go a little lower. I'm going to say 6 million, but I am going to suggest that the writers were hopped up on Jingle Jangle. Fizzle Rocks!
Whatever it's called in Riverbend or whatever the fuck that show is. Okay, I have to come back so I can see your faces when I tell you that this movie cost $25 million to make.
Shut the fuck up.
No!
I'm so glad I came back to the Zoom call for that.
Oh, what?
I will be clear when I say this. Normally,
somebody laundered money.
Yeah. No, let me preface this, Paige. Normally when I look up budgets, I can verify it at a few sources. This one only has one source, and it's not like I could definitely see this being wrong is all I'm saying, but it's the only source I could find.
Okay.
Said $25 million.
It's not on the screen.
It's not. Yeah, no, exactly. That's what I was thinking too.
I hope Dylan Sprouse got 20 of those million.
He deserved it. So this movie was not released domestically, but was released internationally. Would you guys like to guess how much it made worldwide in the box office?
I know After does a lot better overseas for some reason.
It does better in seas too, because this didn't get a domestic release at all.
$3 million.
Okay.
All of international.
No, this is worldwide because it didn't get domestic.
Okay, that's what I mean. All right.
Yeah, I guess that would be all of international. Yeah,
all
sorry.
of international. Yeah. I'm going to say 40.
Okay. Mikey, you were almost exactly right. It is $3.5 million.
Hey, this is not a real film.
1.7 million of which comes from...
Not a real film, Paige.
The second fighter's homeland, Russia.
Why are they so into these? Because they were the same for After, where After made a ton of money there too.
Yeah, it literally is Russia, Netherlands, Spain, Portugal, Mexico are their top 5 countries. But I mean, like, it didn't really, I mean, in Mexico, it made $250,000. It didn't do great, guys. It only made 3.5 million worldwide. So, like, it's amazing there's a sequel, especially if this did actually cost $25 million, which again, it may very well not have. I could have shot this for $1 million cold.
It sounds like the Russian mob laundried money.
Laundried money. They definitely did. Yeah.
Full laundry full of money.
Yeah. But that's your box office. Mikey, do you want to hit us with that romance scale?
Yeah, our romance scale is a scale of 1 to 4 of how romantic we found the film today. Paige.
1. But Heist, 5.
Is that on a scale of 1 to 4? You gave it a 5 on the high scale of 1 to 4? That's insanity! The Thomas Crown Affair is a better rom-com with the heist.
Who gives a shit about a painting?
I don't know. I don't even really like that movie. My point is that that's also a bad movie, but a better heist.
You know what's a great one? Entrapment. That's my favorite one.
Ooh, when she's dancing around those
Catherine
lasers.
Zeta-Jones, she dips beneath the lasers.
So for me, it's a 1 as well on the romance scale. Although if we're doing a roar scale, I'd give it like a 1.5. It's sexier than After.
Oh, yeah, definitely more sexy than After. Yeah, I'll give this 1.5 roars.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this a 1 for show.
Yeah.
And that is our romance.
Yeah, so this week, Paige, you made us watch the 311 written and produced
Beautiful Disaster.
Beautiful Disaster.
I don't think we got to stop saying it was them. I don't think we should blame them for this.
No, Nick Hexom's about to sue me. But Mikey, it's your turn next week. So what movie are you making us watch next week?
Well, I don't know if we should do an After film. How many are left?
I think only 2
or 1.
I'm looking. Hold on.
I think it might just be 1.
It might just be 1. No, it's 2.
Oh,
damn it.
God.
After Ever Happy, which is the fucking worst title I've ever heard. And then we have After Everything. So After Ever Happy is the next After film.
Well, we got to keep going, right?
Yeah, of course. We got to keep going.
All right, then Ever Happy Laughter.
After Ever Happy.
Yeah, so your homework for next week is to watch Ever Happy Laughter. Or otherwise known as After Every Happy.
After Ever Happy.
Which is the 4th movie in the After series.
After 4.
Yeah, which I expect to be just as crazy as the rest of them. And honestly, I'm really glad to continue this crazy train.
They're better written.
They're not.
Than Beautiful Disaster.
No, they're just as bad, except they just have more quotes from books.
AKA way better. Thanks for agreeing with us, Paige. But that's going to be your homework for next week. So make sure you watch After Every Happy. Is that what it actually is?
After Ever Happy. After Ever Happy.
After Ever Happy. Oh my God. Yeah, so watch that and then come back for that episode. So, Mikey, do you have a review for us to read?
Not really.
Okay.
I'm scrolling. I'm finding a review.
I'll go ahead and read a Spotify comment. And this Spotify comment comes from our most recent Knocked Up episode. And it's from Abs. And they say, as an alternative person who shaves half my eyebrows off and draws them on, I feel called out. We did talk, we went deep on how to do eyebrows.
Well, if you had eyebrows, you'd look surprised and hurt.
Fuck you. Hey, do whatever you need to do with your brows. Just, I would say, pack for contingencies like Splash Mountain.
But Abs, thank you so much for that Spotify comment. Mikey, whose review are you going to read this week?
Sure. I'm going to go back and watch Scrabble Ship's review. Read that.
Well, what does Scrabble Ship have to say?
And they say, you make me feel all funny, all sunny inside. I'm sorry. Not a fan of romantic movies, but how could I possibly resist you three and Melissa Joan Hart? 5 stars.
Nice. What Melissa Joan Hart movie? Oh, Santa Boot Camp.
Santa Boot Camp.
My starring debut.
That fucking crazy mess of a movie.
Love
Which is worse, Santa Boot Camp or this?
This.
I think Santa Boot Camp was better. I think this was worse.
I honestly do. Yeah, it definitely was better.
And it weirdly had chemistry.
It wasn't bad.
This is not the first time they've heard me say this, but Santa Boot Camp fucks, baby.
You see me in the background confused when Santa flies over in his car.
Well, you're essentially looking at like a Hot Wheels car floating in the sky, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Filming it, they didn't even tell me there was a thing over. I'm just doing that.
Well, Scrabble Ship, thank you so much for that 5-star review. And if you want to have us read your Spotify comment or 5-star review, leave a Spotify comment or 5-star review, and we will do just that. So, yeah, guys, if you like this power throuple that we have here on this podcast, make sure to check out our other podcast, The Horror Virgin, and that is the only other podcast that Mikey and I are on, but Paige gets around, and she is on 2 other podcasts, Black Card Rehab and Cult Podcast. So, guys, definitely check out those because they're amazing. If you want to follow us on social, we are at Romancing the Pod Show.
Yes.
On Instagram, and we are at something else on Twitter who I just have never taken the time to learn
It's just Romancing Pod Show because they have a character limit and it's show SHO like Showtime.
So guys, check that out as well. And if you want to follow us all individually, Paige is at Rampage Wesley everywhere, including TikTok, except for Twitter, where she is at Paige Wesley. Mikey is at mrandolph24, and I am at Todd J. Awesome everywhere. And guys, we got a P.O. box. So if you want to send us some love letters or whatever you might send to a P.O. box, it's actually not a P.O. box. It's like a regular street address. It's pretty awesome. It's 6688 Nolensville Road, number 108-34, Brentwood, Tennessee, 37027. So send us some stuff.
Yeah.
And that's going to be it for us, you guys. I'm Paige.
I'm Mikey.
And I'm Todd.
And you complete us.
To completion.
Do you want to fight my dick?
No, what? No. What? Not unless I'm asleep and it's a cat.
Bye! Bad kitty handjob nerds. By the way, I have a pitch for our new production company name.
Oh, yeah. Bad kitty handjob.
Bad kitty handjob.